As the shadows creep and the darkness looms, as the dead whisper inside your room, as all you are scared of awakens within the night, may you look inside and bring forth your light. Aloha, shifters, light guardians, dreamers within this beautiful holographic matrix, spooky beings of all sorts. Thank you for joining in for another one of our Inspirational Team podcasts presented through Paradigm Shift Central. This is our Synergy Circle. This is our special team party podcast for Halloween. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you everyone so much for joining in. And of course, for tonight's episode, not only is it Halloween, but we're going to be diving deep. We're going to be talking about the spiritual wisdom of Halloween. And before we get into the actual discussion, of course, we're just going to go through a quick routine where I'm just going to give some big shout outs and thank you to all the amazing people who are joining with us live on air tonight, our fellow leading members. So fellow leading members, go ahead, make some noise and send some spooky howls and ghoulish noise so all the amazing people tune in. Woo!
Woohoo! Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. My name is Mystic Spider-Man, aka Brendon, Wolfshield, Skull Babylon. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for being a part of this team. We're here to be able to have some fun, to be able to dive deep into the roots of Halloween, but to also be able to help inspire you, to be able to have discussions about the things related to spirituality and consciousness that we don't always get a chance to be able to talk about, to be able to help spark our spirit, to be able to help inspire us on our journey of shifting consciousness by being able to cultivate more awareness within ourselves. So there's some really, really exciting themes to be able to dive into, and definitely there's going to be some paradigms that are going to get shifted in tonight's episode. So before we get into the discussion, I'm just going to go through and give a quick hello and introduce you to some of the amazing leading members that we have here tonight. I'll tell you a little bit about the community for those of you who may be new. Then we're going to do a quick little meditation around our imaginary bonfire, and then from there we'll get right into tonight's discussion. For the discussion tonight, we are going to not only be talking about spiritual wisdom of Halloween, but again, in theme with a party, we're going to be dancing. We're going to be dancing to some music by our friend Spaceship Earth. And also we are going to be finishing off with a little special meditation at the end of the broadcast. So all in all, this will probably be about 3 hours long. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. If it's your first time here, go ahead and drop a 333 in the chat. So just as a quick introduction, say hello to the fellow amazing members that we have with us here tonight. Of course, we have myself, Brendon, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, and starting from my left to my right, we also have Kaci. Kaci, go ahead and wave hello. Kaci's rocking it with her outfit as well. And we've got Stella. Stella, thank you so much for bringing. Is it a penguin, Stella? Is that? I think it's a penguin, something like that. Yeah, awesome. And the cat's dressed up too. Oh, and the cat's a duck too. That's beautiful. Awesome. And we've got Diego. Diego, thank you for joining in. One of our newer leading members. Diego, thank you for being here. Diego also brought his cat. Apparently I didn't get the memo, but apparently everyone's got cats here tonight. And we've got Zentia. Zentia, thank you so much for joining in, looking amazing as per usual. And we've got Aizo. Aizo, thank you so much for joining in once again. Aizo looking absolutely magnificent. Thank you for joining, and love the background too. You got like the mise en scene, the ambient in the background, beautiful. And of course we've got Melissa back again, and Melissa rocking the cat power. Where did this cat energy come from tonight? I like it. It does fit with the Halloween theme, and I think we're gonna have a couple more of our members joining in a little bit part way through. And yes, for those of you on TikTok and Instagram, go ahead and click the link in my profile to be able to join in with the rest of the team on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, I'm ending the broadcast now. Click the link in my profile to be able to join in on YouTube. So we're going to get things started here in the next couple moments by doing a little bit of a meditation. But before we do that, just as a quick introduction for those of you who may be new, Paradigm Shift Central is a community that we started. It's a project that we started over 10 years ago to be able to help inspire people to choose to be the change they wish to see. This is about being able to build a real world team of shifters, people who are actively helping assist with the shift in consciousness. If you guys are new to this community, you can connect further by joining our Discord server, and you can also join on our Patreon to become a leading member, where you get to join on air for these podcast episodes that we do weekly, as well as full access to our Discord chat to be able to help support you as a conscious creator, and also access to our collaborative work periods, access to me as a conscious media creation coach, discount for our items, lots of cool stuff. Thank you, Patreon supporters. You help make this broadcast possible, and thank you, everyone. Your support is equally appreciated. So if you want to be able to share this broadcast with some friends, go ahead and do that. that, check out Paradigm Shift Radio on Spotify. Make sure you check out and enjoy some of the past episodes there. And also make sure that you check the links in the YouTube info for links to all of the social media platforms for the leading members that are featured on tonight's broadcast. That way, so you can follow up and say hello and thank them for being a part of the team. And so thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this team, for being a part of this community. Again, the intention here is to be able to help explore these topics, to educate ourselves, to be able to shift paradigms, to see things differently, especially with this theme. I think there's a lot for us to be able to dive into, which in a lot of ways has actually been very much linked and an extension of the episodes that we've been that have been taking place up to this. Just as a quick throwback, on October 1st, we had a team podcast that was Spiritual Wisdom of Shadow. And then from there, we had another one about Spiritual Wisdom of Alchemy, and then Spiritual Wisdom of Psychic Abilities, and now Spiritual Wisdom of Halloween. So each one does kind of link into the other, and we're going to kind of see how that happens through tonight's discussion. So I'm excited to be able to get into it. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in and for being here. And with that said, again, just be sure to click all the links in the info of this video afterwards. All the info that you need is there. And just before we get started, we did actually just have one of our other members joining in, Z. I'm gonna just kind of put you on screen here, Z. If you just want to wave to the camera, there's Z. Z's back again with the fairy magic, looking amazing and mystical as always. Z, thank you so much for joining in, Z. Beautiful. All right, team, just in time to be able to get ready to move into our meditation. Again, if it's your first time here, go ahead and drop a 333 in the chat. Please continue to share this broadcast with your friends. Let's get into a little bit of a meditation to be able to set the intention, and then we'll dive deep in, we'll dig deep into this theme of Halloween. We're gonna dig up the bones on this one, boys and girls, or something like that. And let's also basically just consider this a full moon edition party as well. It's pretty full. I looked out my window yesterday. It was pretty full, and I'm sure it's still pretty full. So thank you again, everyone. For those of you on TikTok, click the link in my profile. Let's drop into this meditation. So for everybody here, just taking a moment to be able to get nice and comfortable as we get ready to move into things. So, and side note, if the audio is a little bit out of sync, I'll do my best to be able to fix that as we go. So thank you again. All right. Beautiful. All right, so for everybody here, just taking a moment to be able to get yourself comfortable, we're just going to do a quick little meditation to be able to help set the intention. So find a place for yourself to just be able to sit down comfortably, and when you're ready, gently close your eyes. As you connect with your breath here, you can gently just begin to bring awareness to this present moment. Soft, gentle inhales and soft, gentle exhales. Straighten up your posture, open up your chest, relax your face. And to begin with, we'll just bring ourselves into this space of gratitude. You can put your hands on your heart, just connecting with the gratitude for this sacred space that we have created here together as a team, a beautiful team of conscious individuals helping assist with the shift. Gratitude for yourself, and gratitude for every single person tuned in right now. And now in this moment, usually what we do is we imagine ourselves around a circle. For tonight, I invite you to choose, if you wish, to imagine yourself sitting around a bonfire. And even that bonfire, if you want, you can even imagine it being at the life tree, the guardian tree, the world tree, something we'll be returning to a little bit later in our broadcast during our bigger meditation. But either way, just allow yourself to visualize all of us here, if you wish, sitting around this bonfire, and you just see the faces of the people who are here. You can feel maybe kind of like the spooky but also exciting energy in the air with us here tonight. And so as you look around the circle, just allow yourself to just be able to see these faces and just honor them and thank them. See them as sacred mirrors, and just allow yourself to be able to be present in this energy of gratitude, of excitement. And just allow yourself to be in this moment. And I'm going to stop talking. And just allow yourself to speak any words of kindness and inspiration and gratitude to the other members, to the other people here within our team, within our community, as you imagine yourself looking around the circle and really feeling this love within your heart. So go ahead, take a few moments here. What would you like to say to the people who are tuned in with us during this discussion? Go ahead, take a few moments, speak from your heart, and allow yourself to be able to receive any gratitude as well. Do that now. continuing to breathe here. We'll just take one more moment to be able to crystallize anything that you said, maybe just into one sentence. One sentence that you want to just be able to say to the team here tonight. Maybe it's related to the theme of tonight's topic. Just go ahead. One sentence to be able to say to them tonight. Go ahead and beautiful. And just allow yourself to continue to hold this image within your heart. You're going to carry it with us throughout this discussion. And just allow yourself to be in this space of gratitude, excitement, love, magic, mystery. Take another look at the faces in this circle, seeing their faces illuminated by the bonfire, perhaps. Seeing all the magic that they carry with them. And slowly from here, we're gently going to bring our awareness back to our physical body as we carry this intention with us throughout this discussion. And when you're ready, gently bringing your awareness back to your physical body as you wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And so with that said, let me just take 2 seconds here. I just want to be able to see if I might be able to fix the audio real quick. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, team. Don't need to do that quite in the middle of things, but just want to be able to see if I can get it synced up a little bit better. Okay. All right. We'll take it as it is, and I'll fix it as we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Let's get ready to do this. So, with that said, tonight's topic, the spiritual wisdom of Halloween. This is a very exciting topic for us to be able to get into and to explore as a team, because I think on the surface, Halloween is one of those things that we probably admittedly aren't very educated on. It's one of those things where it's just like, okay, yeah, it's like a cultural thing where we go around and dress up and there's candy and there's kind of like spooky stuff and everything like that, but what is its origins? Where does it come from? Why do we celebrate it? What is it within us that is symbolically representing? And so in leading up to this discussion here tonight, I was really curious, and that's why I wanted to be able to bring us here together as a team, because this is something that I myself am admittedly also learning as well. And so with tonight's broadcast, with tonight's discussion, this will be a bit of a history lesson as well, to be able to dive deep into variations of the origin of Halloween, or as we often refer to it in the Celtic, Scottish, Gaelic, Samhain. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight. We'll talk a bit about the symbolism of Halloween, and again, for us to be able to perhaps even extract a modern day spiritual interpretation of Halloween. Perhaps what it was then has continued to transform as we continue to transform. So carrying it forward, how can we perhaps bring the spiritual and bring the sacred back into this ceremony? So I'm going to talk about this just for a little bit, and then who would like to go after me? Just give me a hands up for who would like to jump in after me, and then from there we'll pass it to the next person. So if anybody is ready to go based on who wants to go after, just go ahead and let me know. I know Melissa was probably going to go, but anybody else will go with it as we go. So okay, somebody figure out who wants to go after me, and then go ahead and you guys can just type that into the Zoom chat as well. So okay, allow me to do my best to be able to explain this in some way. Again, this is still just practice even for me. So, okay. So, Halloween, this is my understanding of the spiritual wisdom of Halloween going back to its origins. So, Halloween is the modern word for what originated as Samhain or Samhain. It's kind of spelled like S-A-M-W something something something. Sorry, I forget the spelling off the name of my head, but it's pronounced Samhain or variations of that. And then this goes back to like 2,000 years ago, 2,000 plus years ago. And this would have actually been a lot to do with like the agriculture and the seasons and the astrology at the time. And so with its origins kind of coming from Europe with the Celts, this was all about being able to honor the process of life and death and rebirth, to really be able to acknowledge that as the seasons change, we are preparing for the darker nights. We are preparing for the long nights in which things begin to slow down, things begin to die, and we are forced, in a way, the reality around us demands us that we turn inwards, that we begin to look inwards, to be able to tolerate it, to be able to make it through. And so with my understanding of how, again, this thing has continued to evolve over the years, a lot of what we recognize as like the modern day Halloween actually came through through like the Catholic Church and everything, essentially trying to softly kind of like take away the influence of like the original Samhain holiday. So and Samhain, like whether or not I mean, I don't even think holiday would quite be the best word, but it definitely was something that, again, you know, with the seasonal change, it was when the nights started to get longer. And so within the calendars, you kind of have like the four primary parts of the year, with like the equinox and like solstice, and then you got like the other equinoxes, and then you got kind of like these quarter ones in between. And so Halloween is also kind of like in the quarter one as well. Sorry, I'm probably not explaining this. This is an intense topic to be able to dive into, but I just want to be able to try and go over this as best as I can. So again, my understanding is that because the Catholic Church wasn't really a big fan of the pagans and the Druid and the Celtic and everything like that, essentially what they did, from my understanding, is that they originally had another Christian holiday known as All Saints Day. And All Saints Day was originally in May, but then for whatever reason, one of the popes at the time actually moved All Saints Day to November 1st. And then so All Saints Day, which was also called All Hallows Day, was basically on November 1st. And then so the day before Hallows Day was eventually referred to as Hallows Eve. And then that eventually became Halloween. And so there's a lot of different aspects to the origin of kind of like where the death and the ghoulishness and the spooky stuff kind of comes into Halloween. One thing that my understanding is that even on the day after All Saints Day was also the day called All Souls Day. And so this was a day where the Christians basically encouraged people to pray for the souls that were in purgatory, from my understanding. So this is, again, purgatory was like kind of like not heaven, not hell, but still not a very favorable place. And so this was, again, kind of like this idea that it was about being able to pray for the spirits, to sort of to be able to kind of like pray for their salvation and everything like that. Now, again, this is more just kind of like the Christian side to it. And there was also one thing that it came across that was interesting relative to kind of like the trick-or-treating, and this actually kind of brought up some clarity. This isn't like, again, this is painting the bigger picture of the spiritual wisdom, but I'll segue back in a second, then we'll pass it off to someone else. But with the trick-or-treating thing back in, I guess, maybe like England or even in America and stuff like that, basically people would go to doors and knock on doors on All Saints Day, and people who were perhaps like poor or less privileged, they would basically offer their service to pray for damned souls in exchange for like fruit cakes, in exchange for soul cakes is what they called them. So people would be like, here's a soul cake, like here's a treat for you, and then these people would like eat that, and then they would basically be doing a service where they would be praying for the damned souls, is one way to be able to think about it. But again, going back to the origins of it as Samhain and everything, there is the very real energy of this time, and this is where people talk about the idea that the veil becomes thinner. So this was a time where the spiritual celebration of it, regardless of the Catholic sort of interpretation and how that kind of got, you know, skewed and transformed and eventually turned into the modern day of what we now see as sort of like a consumer culturized version of Halloween, which is a whole story in itself. But the origin of Samhain was, again, about being able to connect with spirit, being able to connect with ancestors, and also being able to like invite in that connection on a more deep, intimate level. And this is also my understanding, where basically part of the idea of dressing up during Samhain was also to be able to like ward off some of the bad spirits. So you wanted to be able to make sure that only the good spirits were coming into your house and things. So you would actually disguise yourself to be able to ward off the bad spirits, or it's for them to not be able to like recognize you. This was part of my understanding of it as well. So there's a lot of aspects to the Halloween origin which are incredibly powerful, and I'll get right into some big themes with it, and then I'll pass the talking stick here. So this is really powerful, where basically my understanding of why Halloween is spiritually important is because when we look at it symbolically, it's actually very much like an alchemical ceremony. It's a ceremony of alchemy in which it is honoring us in our ability to be able to cultivate our inner light in the midst of darkness. And oftentimes we talk about this idea that during Halloween, in some practices, that there needs to be like a sacrifice. There needs to be like something that you're offering. And then maybe sometimes, again, like with the Samhain, if there was like bonfires and stuff, perhaps they would use like effigies and things like that. But more so, not just like the literal sacrificing, but also the allegorical sacrificing that each and every single one of us has the choice to be able to make, is the sacrificing of our own ego. So this is kind of where the spiritual symbolism of Halloween that's kind of been lost and we've kind of forgotten about it, is this idea that there needs to be a part of us that dies in order for something new to be born. So this is again the idea that our light must withstand the darkness, and this is what we are celebrating. This is what we are celebrating. We must earn the right to our like conscious awareness through the conquest of our darkness. And so this is something that again has kind of been lost over the ages, but this is very much Halloween, whether or not we realize it, is very much the story of our hero's journey. Is the story of being able to enter into the darkness, to be able to enter into the long winter, to be able to endure the challenges, to endure the suffering, but again to be able to understand that the nearness of the darkness is also the invitation to connect more with like the inner wisdom of the shadows, something we've talked about in the past podcast, but also about being able to again be able to invite in the connection of our spirit and our ancestors and those who are here to be able to help guide us through this darkness. So it's kind of like this idea that in the midst of darkness, it may seem kind of scary and uncertain, but at the same time, it also gives you the invitation within that stillness to be able to attune to your connection with your spirits, your guides, your ancestors, who are there to be able to help support you in shining your light as you continue to move through the darkness. So there's a very powerful idea where basically the day starts at darkness. People in some cultures, they talk about this idea that like the start of their day is actually the middle of the night. So the day starts dark and then eventually it moves into light. So this is again about the celebration of the cycles of time. It is a celebration of death as an important part for the light to be able to be born out of. And this is why, again, with this time of the year, both related to like the agriculture and the astrology, this is why we also have the Dia de Muerte, which is the Day of the Dead, which falls around November 2nd. And we also have Diwali, which is the Indian celebration, which is a celebration of light. So you can see there's kind of like these parallels. So yes, on some level, Halloween has kind of been transformed into this sort of like consumer thing where, yes, it is about playing with our fears and seeing our shadows. But I think on the deeper spiritual level, going back to the Samhain origins, it was a celebration of seasons, it was a celebration of ancestors, and it was also a celebration of the cultivation of our inner light. And that in itself is what I feel is a big theme of the spiritual wisdom of Halloween. So that's a little bit of a introduction and a bit of a history lesson in terms of Halloween, but of course there's a lot more to be able to add in there. If that I don't know, feel free to drop some 1111s if that kind of I guess is educational to you. I guess I don't know. Again, I'm still practicing. I'm learning here too. Like straight up, this is just practice, and I'm excited to be able to learn together here as a team. So leave your comments down below. What do you think are some of the spiritual wisdom of Halloween? So let's talk about being able to cultivate the inner light within us to be able to face our inner demons and anything else that we want to be able to talk about and to become stronger as a result of this ceremony that we are sharing here together. And again, beyond the consumerism of it, I think it's going to be up to us as conscious community to be able to bring back the sacredness of this ceremony, so of this time. All right, Give me a hands up. Who wants to go next? Because we didn't. Okay, we're gonna pass it over to Melissa, and then who wants to go after Melissa? Go ahead. We'll pass it to Zentia after that. Cool. Okay, I hope me just saying there got some gears rolling for you guys. So we're gonna pass it over to Melissa. There's obviously a lot more to be able to share. Melissa, go ahead, briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the spiritual wisdom of Halloween. Thank you so much, Melissa. Meow meow.
Meow meow so much. So thank you so much for passing the mic. I really appreciate it. My name is Melissa, aka Pisces Psyche, and you can find me on Instagram as Pisces Psyche 8, Pisces 8 Psyche, excuse me. I do provide spiritual awakening coaching and in one-on-one tarot and oracle on my Patreon. So if that's something you're interested, I'm your girl. I am offering a discounted rate, one-time payment for Samhain readings. So if you're interested in those, hit me up in the DMs on IG or TikTok. So I'll dive right in. Like Brendon's covered so much of this history already in just a blip. And I'm really excited to share with you guys what I know as an Irish girl, that we get most of our traditions from the Celts, from the Iron Age. That this Samhain was originally a 3-day festival, and Samhain is typically celebrated on November 1st, seen as the day of Samhain being November 1st. And like Brendon said, it begins the night before at dark time on October 31st. And that is why we celebrate Halloween on October 31st at night. So this 3-day festival honoring the end of summer, death of our loved ones, and rebirth, the darker side of the year, winter, and the slumber of Mother Earth. During this time, the veil becomes extremely thin. And in the Iron Age, it was believed that because this veil was so thin, that the spirits, ghosts, and fae were out and about playing tricks on people. So this created kind of a trend of people playing tricks on each other and blaming the fae. This is where the trick part of trick or treat came from. The treat part came from like Brendon already mentioned, the Christianity part of All Saints Day, leaving offerings out to the poor. And so I'll get into that in a bit. Like, it was Pope Gregory III, actually, who moved All Saints Day to November 1st in competition with he dubbed it All Hallowmas, and it was to be in competition with this celebration of what the pagans were doing, and try to get everybody kind of in his boat, so to speak. And so when that happened, All Saints Day was celebrated by giving to the poor, giving food to the poor, and this is where the treat part of trick or treat came in. So that being said, this kind of merging of Christian saints with the honoring of the pagans' dead and ghosts and spirits created All Hallows Eve as we know it today. Sorry, I just got a message. Did I glitch out a bit? Something wrong?
It's fine. Keep going.
Okay,
It's
must
good.
not
Yeah,
be me.
fix itself.
So, okay. So the tricks and treats, like we've covered already, is become a really like corporate thing as we know it, but it has its roots in meaning, in sacred meaning, giving to the poor, playing tricks on your friends, and these offerings once used to be serve as protection, like Brendon said. The apple is the symbol of immortality. So we got our pumpkin carving and the leaving jack-o'-lanterns out on the porch from the symbol of leaving a hollowed out apple on our doorstep as protection, as an offering to these spirits and to these dead and to the dead, these who were passed on. And it used to be an apple because and then in addition to leaving a candle lit in your window, these two things were merged in the gourd. They put the candle in the gourd now, and it's all for fun and games. So let's see. The other names for Samhain are Shadowfest, aka Strega, the Greater Sabbath, the Third Harvest, Old Hallowmas, Samana, Day of the Dead, and Martinmas. And I think these are really fun things to point out, that it doesn't matter what the hell you call it, we're all celebrating the same thing. Most people may not know that Samhain is on November 1st, and traditionally celebrated on October 31st, this beautiful night of the spirits. This beautiful night is one of two very, very big spirit nights of the year, the other being Beltane. The veil is so thin at this time that some consider the laws of time and space to be temporarily suspended entirely. Some even say the veil is completely lifted. This Sabbath used to be known as the Feast of the Dead. For that reason, carving pumpkins has become our tradition. We leave out these hollowed out apples as an offering, and we leave these candles as a guidance to guide our passed on ancestors, a light, like a lighthouse, to our places, to our doorsteps, because we want our ancestors to come and receive our offerings so that they may protect us. They may protect our harvest. They may bless our harvest, and our bounty may be full for the coming winter. It's a time to honor and make offerings to our passed on loved ones. It's a time to honor the Dark Mother, who is known as the Crone. It's a time to honor her consort, the Dark Father. If you're into pagan things, these are extremely important god and goddess to be honoring. It's a great time to hone in on divination and intuition skills, and to strengthen the bond between yourself and spirit, because the veil is so, and like much of what I was going to cover has already been covered by Brendon, really just bringing the history of what you guys would like to learn, and why we do what we're doing now. And I feel like most of it's already been covered, so like here we are. And if anyone's interested in celebrating Samhain and doing a personal one-on-one Samhain tarot, like I said, I am offering those as a one-time payment. Also, you can get those if you sign up at my Patreon, and the links will be in the description, like Brendon said. So I will gladly pass the mic already. I know that was short and sweet, but that's how I like to keep it.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Meow meow. That was awesome. Yeah, again, like honestly, that was more that was more than what was expected, and I'm grateful for the wisdom that we all bring together here as a team, because yeah, like that's what we're here to do. Like we're here to learn, because like that's a big part of it. And we're gonna pass it to Zentia here. It's like we have two choices: to either just ignore the history and just kind of like use Halloween as another chance to kind of dress up and party and everything like that, or we can kind of like bring forth the traditions and bring forth the sacredness. And this is where I want to be able to invite other people here within this team, because I know there's probably gonna be some people they're like I'm not really sure what to talk about. Like, what am I supposed to talk about here? You know, that's where I feel like I want to be able to brainstorm as a team. What are the ways that we can kind of honor the tradition of Samhain or Halloween or whatever we're calling? Like, do we need to call it something else? Is there like another word we should call it? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll figure that out. I'll brainstorm a little bit about it. But the one thing that again I think is very interesting within the spiritual wisdom of Halloween is this natural desire that we have to play with our shadow, to play with our darkness, to play with our fear, right? Like this is a very, very interesting thing within our psychology. And perhaps it's because we only, we know that it's just one day a year. So we kind of like get this excuse to get all of our sillies out. It's kind of like a purging process or something like that in a sense. But it is a fascinating part to be able to look at as a reflection of our psychology, because that's something that we talked about before, where it's like, yeah, like each and every single one of us is the yin, is the yang. So we carry these archetypes inside of us. But regardless of just using Halloween as a chance to be able to dress up as like a scary, spooky, dark, evil version of yourself, which clearly, like, that's, I don't know if that's like, I'm dressed up as Kylo Bren right now. I'm not Kylo Ren, I'm Kylo Bren. My name's Brendon, in case I had to spell that out for those of you who couldn't. No, I got my lightsaber here. We'll bust that out when we get to the dancing, which we're gonna do in a second. Hold on, this is gonna like blow the screen apart. Jesus, so bright. Anyway, see, we're gonna pass it over to Zentia. I'd love to just be able to dive a little bit deeper. And again, let's ruminate on that question. What ways can we honor and celebrate, I don't know if celebrate's the right word, the energies of the time, the tradition of the time in a modern day? What does that look like? Because I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are, as of 5 months ago, are now officially witches, thanks to the witch talk boom of 2020. So there's a lot of people out there that are just like, what do I do? And whether you're a witch or not, I think it's a great time to be able to reflect and to be able to, at the very least, whether or not you're like dressing up and doing spooky stuff, I think it's a great opportunity to just be able to reflect and connect with our ancestors, to connect with our loved ones, and to be able to just, again, bring it back to the theme of illuminating the light within inside of us, to be able to shine through the darkness for the months ahead, literally and metaphorically as well. We're gonna get into the dancing. Let's pass it to Zentia, and then who wants to go after Zentia? We'll pass it over to Aizo, and then who else wants to go after Aizo? Because after that one, we'll get into the dancing. All right, we'll pass it to Aizo after, and then maybe we'll get into our first dance session after that. So that said, we're gonna pass it over to Zentia. Pass it over to you. Zentia, can you just tilt your camera down or frame it up just a little bit? Perfect. All right, awesome. There we go. All right, okay, Zentia, pass it over to you. Please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the spiritual wisdom of Halloween from your perspective.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zentia. You can find me on YouTube as Zentia Infinite 369 or You Glow Goddess. That's my tarot channel. You can find me on Instagram. I'm a musician and a healer, and again, tarot reader, and on TikTok. So today I want to just piggyback off of my awesome colleagues here about Halloween. With my little kiddies, I homeschool. So we decided one year, or I decided I was tired of following the holidays on the dot all the time. And I grew up Christian and left it, found my spirituality later. So I was like, I'm sick of this. Let's just start looking up, what are we even celebrating, guys? And the kids are asking me, and I'm like, I don't know. So we created a class to look it up, and Halloween was one of the first holidays that we looked up, and we found All Souls Day. We made some little soul cakes. So I want to talk about the death and rebirth part of Halloween, that spirituality part. When we get to this part of the year and we're getting ready, as the leaves fall away, try to think of those leaves, you being the tree. And those leaves being all the things that you are letting go of for the year that has passed. You're letting the leaves fall. You're becoming bare so that you can bear fruit again the next summer over. And even in the other hemisphere, they're getting ready for summer. So they're also getting ready to bloom out of bareness. So it's a really great part of the year. And like Melissa said, with the veil being so thin, my story from the Christian holiday All Souls Day, from our research, we found that people would pray for their ancestors on that day. And the kids would trade the cakes for prayers for their ancestors. Those poor, unfortunate, the kids that were less fortunate would come to their doors, and that would kind of be trade for trade. Something interesting that I found that I wanted to share was about the Pleiades that I didn't know. So they're said to represent the cycles of death and rebirth. And this time of year, there's an alignment with the planets. Hold on one second to make sure I have it. Okay, yeah. So in pagan times, this was celebrated from October 31st to November 1st because the spiritual activity was the highest. And due to the rising of the Pleiades, which would reach their highest point in the sky during this time of the year in the northern hemisphere. And I didn't know that star system was represented by that energy. So I think it's really beautiful finding that out today. that Halloween kind of weaves through our world and up into outer space and different realms, if you will, maybe even inner earth. You know, there's a deeper meaning, as Melissa was saying, to Halloween that we should all recognize. So if when you do leave this event today, just try when you look at those trees and those leaves falling to remember to let go, breathe easy, let those moments pass, and get ready to rest so that you can bear fruit in the summer and spring. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Zentia, so much. And honestly, again, like that, again, a lot of compliments on your hair in the comments. So shout out to your hair specifically. Looks great. What would you describe your costume as? Is it something? Do you have a name for it?
Apparently, I'm a chakra queen. I thought I was
chakra queen,
but my kids were like, "No,
that's
mom,
dope.
You're a chakra queen." They wouldn't.
You're the chakra queen.
Yeah, apparently.
My goodness. I love it. That looks awesome. I mean, and again, right? That's the idea with our costumes. Is like we're not just dressing up; we're dressing in. So this is already inside of you. This is like your activated avatar that we're looking at right now. That's what I see. So looking amazing, Zentia. Thank you so much for dressing up tonight, and thank you again, everyone, for dressing up as well. All right, okay. So we've heard from Melissa, the cat goddess, and the chakra queen, and your host Kylo Bren here doing our best as we move through this. All right, okay. We're gonna pass it over to Aizo, and then after, what do you guys think? Do you want to get in some dancing sooner rather than later? Drop a 777 if you guys want to get in some dancing after Aizo, and then we'll get into a little bit more discussion. And with that said, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. So Aizo, passing it over to you. Go ahead, please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about spiritual wisdom of Halloween. Welcome.
Hi, what's up, guys? So my name's Aizo, and I am a health coach, holistic health coach, and my business is called New Energy Wellness. So I'll just drop that in. But also my outfit, I am Princess Leia today. DIY Princess Leia. All right. So when I was looking into the wisdom of Halloween, I found this great content about this specific Halloween, because I have been seeing that it is a blue moon, right? So, but not only is it a blue moon, but it's on Halloween. So that's just so incredibly rare, so special. It hasn't been like the stars haven't synced in this way. The blue moon hasn't appeared in Halloween since 1944. So it's been quite a long time. It's just incredibly special, and it's just so cool that we get to all ruminate in this amazing energy right now in this moment. Thank you for passing the mic. And basically, what I have here, I have some notes. I want to start with, this is a once in a lifetime chance to really work with the energies that are in place, right? It's a perfect time to set intentions to achieve profound change and that we desire. Between now and 2 to 3 years, when the blue moon comes back around, I guess that's a beautiful time to really set our intentions for like big, crazy, massive changes that we desire in our lives. And there's a couple planets in retrograde right now, and one of them is Chiron. So Chiron in retrograde, is bringing up a lot of psychological and spiritual wounds, kind of opening up for us. And also we have a Taurus full moon, right? And the Taurus is ruled by Venus, Venus is a planet of love, money, and pleasure. And so with that, with it being a full moon in Taurus, it's kind of funny. Something that I've noticed in myself and something that I've noticed in the spiritual community a little bit is when it comes to money, we kind of don't want to ask for it because we feel that it's our natural gift to want to be, shifters and want to enlighten those who are attracted to us. But again, with the Taurus full moon, it's reminding us that allow ourselves to focus on the material matters, allow ourselves to focus on romantic relationships, even though some of us spiritual people might say, but my head is in the clouds. I'm love. I'm so abundant. I'm so expansive. And we are, but also we do have this 3D body. So it's a time to remember that it's okay to want those kind of things. Also, let's get out of our comfort zone. This is a big one for me. I really try to push myself here to get out of my comfort zone. But that's where growth is, right? So let's work on it. And like both of the leading members before me have said, and you, Brendon, this is a time where the veil is thin. So basically connecting and honoring our ancestors is a really beautiful thing to do right now. And really, really acquiring and gathering confidence from them and allowing us to feel ourselves and just be ourselves and accept ourselves and say it's okay to be who I am. It's okay to shine. And almost wrapping up here, I guess, just remember to look at ourselves in a holistic way and in our whole being as a multi-dimensional being with multi-dimensional needs. And yeah, just reminding myself not to waste this beautiful, magical opportunity and really go for what I want. And hopefully we can manifest some incredible things during this time. So yeah, that's all. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Princess Leia, for being our only hope in this very, very interesting time. So sorry, I couldn't not do it. Anyways, thanks, Mom. Is that what I'm supposed to say? I don't know. Here, are we sticking to canon lore here? I haven't figured this out yet. We're in our own multi-dimensional universe here. Star Wars nerd geek stuff for those of you who missed that there. Anyways. General Leia, I should say, Princess Leia. Okay, team. With that said, let's get into some dancing here. Thank you so much again to everybody for joining in. We're gonna set things up here to be able to do some dancing to our friend Spaceship Earth. You can find more of their music at spaceshipearth.bandcamp.com. Definitely encourage you to be able to check it out. Fortunate for them to be able to work with us here tonight to be able to share some of their music, and it's actually it's Halloween-ish themed music, so this is very, very special to be able to share this here with everyone tonight. So we're just going to set things up here, and I would just encourage everyone to just kind of like get nice and ready to be able to dance, and we'll put things up on panel view. For those of you listening to this in the podcast in the future, just enjoy this music, dance to it, and we'll be back for a little bit more discussion. Who wants to go after the dancing? Who wants to go? Why do I say it like that? Dancing. It's my accent. I don't know. Who wants to go after we're back? Who wants to jump in afterwards? Anybody has to leave out Kristen? We'll pass over to Kristen, and then we'll go from there. So beautiful. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone. I apologize. I know the audio isn't synced up with the video. Honestly, that's like the bane of my existence. Someday we'll get it fixed once I buy a better computer. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for appreciating this, for adding your support. Let's get ready to get up and dance. For those of you on the Zoom call, I'm just going to play this and give me a thumbs up if you can hear this in a second. It should work fine. All right, so everybody, go ahead, get yourself ready. Go ahead if you guys want to stay on camera. If you want to turn off your camera, that's totally optional for you. I'm going to set things up and we'll switch it over to panel view. Perfect. All right, so do this as like a way to kind of like connect in ceremony with your own inner magic, and that's, I think that's something we'll talk a little bit more after this dance number as well. So all right, starting the music. Go ahead, everybody, get yourself nice and warmed up. Take a nice deep breath if you just want to, real quick. Let's just kind of like do a little meditation. Go ahead, just breathe here. Beautiful. Switching over to the music, guys, give me a thumbs up, make sure that you can hear it okay, and here we go.
and then experience the explosion of good ideas flowing and say regularly, I had a desire and it was general, but boy, is it evolving.
Superconductive antenna that was designed and built expressly for the purpose of pulling in and concentrating spiritual experiences or vision states.
All right, beautiful, awesome. Good job, everyone. Beautiful dance moves there. I could definitely feel us summoning the spirits on that one. You guys can go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable, and we'll continue along here with the discussion. And again, like dancing goes hand in hand with this time of year, because again, if you were just imagine back during like the Celtic Samhain, like just like being around the bonfire and just like tapping into that spirit, tapping into that just like vigor, that energy, that cosmic wisdom coming through us. So that's a big theme of what I feel is a very important part of this time of the year, to be able to help again activate that inner light, activate that inner flame. So if you guys had fun with that, go ahead and drop some 1111s in the chat. Yo, Spaceship Earth is in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Spaceship Earth. We're gonna again put the link for their Bandcamp into the YouTube chat, and again, that's going to be in the show notes for this broadcast as well afterwards. And guys, give a nice thank you and a huge shout out to Spaceship Earth, who has literally just jumped in on the chat on that one, so that was good timing there. And we're going to be going into a couple more songs of theirs a little bit later, including around the time that we're going to be doing a little bit of the meditation as well. So with that said, we're going to keep passing the talk and stick around. We'll keep moving through things as smoothly as possible. Again, if you guys are just like having fun, keep dropping those 1111s, keep sharing this broadcast with your friends. Don't stop dancing. Like, that's okay. You guys can just do whatever you guys want. Maybe you're like working on your Halloween costume while you're doing this, whatever it may be. Maybe you got some like candles lit or something like that. Maybe you're like telepathically communicating with the cat outside on the street step or something like that. I don't know. It's that time of year. Anything's possible. All right, with that said, we're going to keep passing the talk and stick around. We're going to pass it over to Kristen, aka Princess Zelda. Like, I wish for the people on Spotify, just as context wise, like the costumes are awesome tonight. We got so many, we got like royalty in the broadcast here tonight, multiple versions, all of us our own version of royalty. So with that said, Kristen, I'm going to pass the talking stick over to you. Please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about spiritual wisdom of Halloween. Welcome.
Thank you, Kylo Bryn. No, I love it though, for real. You guys look absolutely amazing. Everybody's styling and gorgeous, and super excited to see all of you amazing souls. So thank you all for sharing beautiful space as always. I super adore you. And Brendon, that music was delightful and delicious. So thank you. Yeah, spiritual wisdom of Halloween. So this year is going to be an interesting Halloween, right, guys? So not only is it 2020 and all the things 2020, but the veil is especially thin. And so being able to connect with spirits in a way that is safe and comfortable is definitely a possibility. So, just making sure that we are taking advantage of the opportunities to honor our ancestors, or, connect with past loved ones, or just honoring the tradition in general. I know personally, I grew up Catholic. I don't necessarily relate with the faith as is now, but we did celebrate All Saints Day. And so it was always really interesting to me, because it was like the focus was always around the saints, and the people that have been deemed saints are the souls that have attained heaven in the Catholic faith. And so, just kind of honoring a few of the traditions that they do. Catholics are very focused on their traditions and honoring. And so just being able to kind of touch on the fact that I find it really interesting that as I have grown in my spirituality and connected with different types of wisdom, that it is interesting that many different faiths all appreciate October 31st, November 1st, and the transition as the veil being thin, and honoring the spirits in their own way. And so I just wanted to invite everybody to understand that although we all may have different opinions and ideas and wisdom on the Halloween and the spirit around Halloween, we're all celebrating in the same sense of honoring those spirits and honoring the traditions that have passed before us in one way or another. And so really just being able to see the connection between all of us, that we may be different and we may celebrate differently, but
we are all connected and one and the same. So just kind of honoring that that space. So anyways, I love you guys. It's good to see everybody in their awesome Halloween costumes, and thank you for letting me share.
Awesome. Thank you, Princess Zelda. Beautiful, beautiful perspectives there as always. And my goodness, I'm just like, why don't we just wear costumes every week? Like, can that be a thing, right? I know, right? So, and again, that's a big thing that I feel is an important significance of the spiritual wisdom of Halloween, is that it's a permission for us to be able to play with our creative energies, you know, to play with our creative energies as consciousness. So that's what I said, you know, like, yes, there is this element where it is about being able to honor the spirits and everything like that. But even if that's not the primary focus on it, this is a great time for us to be able to tap into creativity, to be able to tap into play, to be able to tap into expression. And I think sometimes, you know, when it comes to like those other parts of ourself, you know, society may tell us, be like, oh, you know, like, you're not allowed to dress up, you're not allowed to pretend you're a magical creature. But now we're kind of getting to the point where I think as many of us continue to kind of go through our spiritual awakening, it's like, wait a second, I don't need anybody's permission. Like, I am a magical creature. Like, this is who I am 7 days a week. And now once a year, people just get to meet me here where we're all dressing up together, right? Like, this is who I am, guys. Like, this is, and then every other day is just like, you know, the off season, so to speak, more or less. So I think, again, when we, as people who are, you know, on a spiritual journey, if we can not only just take the energy here on Halloween, but to be able to bring it with us, to be able to bring it beyond this day, to be able to bring it into the weeks to come, where we can still kind of play with the many facets of who we are, while also in many ways honoring it, the past of who we are. Because again, you know, like you look at Kylo's journey and everything like that, you know, like, yes, there is the shadow, but his story is about the light within the shadow, and that in itself is the story, right? So if we're kind of pretending that these shadow parts aren't a part of us, then we're taking away a part of our story. We're taking away a part of our hero's journey. So even though it's not something that we have to stay in all the time, it is something where it's like, yeah, you know what? I honor the Kylo Ren, the Kylo Bren within inside me, who may go through the periods where there may be doubt, and there may be despair, and there may be shadow, and there may be all of these other things. But then to see that as a way for the character, for myself, or whatever, however you're looking at this allegorically, to be able to use that as a catalyst to be able to find more clarity within who it is that we are choosing to be. So again, you know, I think Halloween is an honoring of our past, our present, and our future. It is looking at where we have been, where we are now, and where we are going. And that very much is like a part of like the Sam Wayne tradition. You look at the past, you look at your ancestors, you look at the past in terms of like, again, like the beauty of the summer and all the things that you've celebrated, and you're just kind of like, well, you know, like, that's not going to continue for a while. Let's take a moment to really be able to reflect on that. Like, let's, like, literally, even just right now, guys, what a wonderful last few months, summer. I mean, all things put aside and everything like that, there's been so much growth, there's been so much journey. And so let's just take a moment here, whether it be literally this moment or just over the course of this broadcast and days, to really just be able to be like, whoa, you know, like, wow, like, what an exciting journey that we are on, that we have been on. And then to know that, again, you know, it's kind of this idea, I've talked about this before, this idea of like falling in love with the mystery of the unknown. And so I think in many cases we can kind of look at the barrenness of the season ahead as being something that can be a little bit scary because it's uncertain. And if anything, you know, depending on the way you look at it, it might seem as if there's not much there to celebrate. But at the same time, even though we're not necessarily going out, it's the invitation to go in. It's the invitation to activate the inner hermit, so to speak. So that's a big part of what I feel, again, is literally the spiritual wisdom of Halloween is, again, kind of like this honoring of our hero's journey, and really being able to get to cultivate and use this as a moment to be able to decide, you know, what energies are we bringing with us into the dark season, so to speak. Don't wait halfway into the dark season to be able to figure out kind of like your own inner light. Figure it out now, and then carry it like a torch with you through the dark season to be able to help assist those on the way. I don't know, guys. I don't know exactly what the future holds and everything like that. But I mean, we can only assume that with the way the world is going, that things are just going to keep getting weirder and weirder. So the fact is, we need to hold our torches, hold our light, hold our lanterns brighter and brighter, more and more, because this is an important thing for us to do. Yes, we're here having fun. Yes, this is a great celebration of community, but this is also, again, kind of like us, like really bringing it back to, you know, what we're doing right here is something very real, very in many ways serious, because this is about the collective awakening of consciousness. So as we continue to, again, honor where we have been, honor where we are now, and then to be able to prepare and honor the future still ahead, and to do it from a deep place of wisdom, knowing that we have what we need inside of us. And even if we don't feel like we have what we need physically, now is still a great time to be able to cultivate it. Mercury retrograde and everything like that, get your ducks in a row, be able to get things all packed up and ready to go, and to be able to prepare and really put in the effort to be able to, you know, like prepare the crops, prepare the things that you've been harvesting to be able to carry with you into these coming months. All the things that you've cultivated over the summer, these next few months, you're going to want to be able to bring them into action. So this is about us getting ready to be able to step into responsibility. The universe is beckoning, where it's just like, yes, in order to be able to survive this long winter, we need you to be as best as you can. We need you to kind of like step into that. So let's hear that calling. Fall in love with the mystery of the unknown, play with our shadows for a little bit, honor the shadow while at the same time honoring the light, and honoring the hero's journey inside of us that shines in the darkest nights. We learn to shine our brightest light, something I've said many times before. Let's keep passing it around. We're going to pass it to, I don't think I figured this out yet. Who we passing it to next? And then at that point, again, we can just kind of go popcorn style at that point, and then we'll get into a little bit more dancing, and then we'll talk a little bit more. And then even just if anybody wants to even share, like, you know, any like full moon intentions, because Aizo was kind of talking about this, but we can talk about this a little bit more. What are some ways that you guys are celebrating Halloween? You know, whether it be kind of like on a witchy ceremonial level, like what are some things that we can do? You know, simple things. Journaling, meditating, connecting with nature, doing some sort of like blood ritual sacrifice, you know, the regular things, the normal. I'm just joking. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Can you? I don't know. I've said too much. Anyways, okay, let's keep passing it around, and let's pass it over to Amanda next, and then from there, Justine and Kaci, if you guys want to jump in after that, just go ahead and let us know. Amanda, we're going to pass it over to you. Thank you so much for joining. And Amanda, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about spiritual wisdom of Halloween. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm Amanda. I basically just wanted to touch on a little bit on how connected Samhain, and I will never pronounce that correctly, but how connected that is with the Day of the Dead, because they're both celebrations of your ancestors and the lifting of the veil, and being able to actually connect with them and celebrate and have that one moment where you get to see them again and tell them about your year, and just have that time to celebrate with them. It's a celebration. We've actually been, like, me and my kids have actually been foraging for leaves and sticks and stones for the last couple days, just in preparation of Halloween. We're not doing anything with them. They just wanted to collect them and make a pile as an offering to whatever it is that they happen to notice in our backyard. And then we're spending the night watching semi-scary movies, because my daughter doesn't handle scary stuff at all. But that's basically what I wanted to touch on, just how similar the two celebrations are.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amanda. Absolutely. And wonderful mask. It's like, it reminds me of, it's almost like an elven fairy mask. Very cool.
I think it's supposed to be a fox.
Fox mask, elven fox fairy mask. It does look like a fox. It does. That looks really cool. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Amanda, again for joining. So wonderful. All right, team, we're gonna keep passing talking. Stick around. Let's pass it over to who wants to go next. You guys can let me know. Pass it over to Justine. Anybody want to go after Justine? Just go ahead and let me know. You guys are totally cool just hanging out here. You guys, I think Z's just waiting for the next dance song. I think that's what. I'm just joking. I'm sure. All right, we'll pass over to Justine, pass over to Kaci, and then we'll pass over to Z. All right, okay, Justine, pass it over to you when you're ready. Introduce yourself, go right ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Justine. You can find me pretty much everywhere at 5D Aligned. I'm sure Brendon tossed in all my links and stuff. But yeah, that's who I am on social media. Usually I fix my Zoom up, but I was running from dinner today, so I had actually planned to dress up as this lovely woman on my favorite tarot deck because I realized, like, y'all, like, the resemblance is like a little bit creepy. But I don't have this much hair, so it would take me like a long time to do this look. Um, but she's actually the High Priestess card in my very favorite deck. So we can just pretend that I like changed my hair and my outfit, but I wanted to get here. So that's my little outfit anecdote. And thank you, Z. Anyway, I finally found a celebrity doppelganger. It's my tarot deck. Anyway, my thing I wanted to add is I actually think that dressing up for Halloween, like I always think about the Mean Girls quote, like Halloween's the one night a girl can dress as slutty as she wants and nobody gets to judge her. And I know for me, I grew up in like a super conservative small place. And then I moved to LA for college and it was like a whole new world. I was like, what do you mean there's no snow on the ground and I don't got to wear a big old coat? Like, what? Um, and actually, I think so much of my spiritual growth has come from learning to be like empowered and show up exactly however I want and not worry about how anybody else is perceiving me, and actively choosing how I want to show up in the world. So like Halloween to me is like this opportunity we all get of like a freebie, no judgment. Who do you choose to be? Whether that's a Star Wars character, whether that's a cat, whether it's like a slutty mouse, like whatever floats your boat. I feel like Halloween is a moment of like no shame for anybody, no holds barred, and actually an opportunity to like practice spiritually of like, who do I choose to embody in this moment? And we can have some fun with that concept at Halloween and like learn the lesson through play. Anybody else go to a Montessori preschool? No, just me. It's okay. But like learning through play is one of the best ways for our brains to learn. So if we can play with this concept of like, who do I choose to embody? I'm not worrying what anybody else is thinking of me, and I'm going to fully drop in and embody Princess Leia or, you know, whoever your character is. That's like a really beautiful lesson to move forward with. So practice self-empowerment through pretending to be or acting as if or acting as. There are lots of different like semantic ways to convey this concept, but the main thing is to just drop in and fully be, and Halloween is just like a fun way to play with that concept. So I'm a really big fan. I feel like it's been an amazing way to connect with my sort of darker side or like sexuality in an empowered way, as opposed to like a scary way or like, oh my gosh, I don't know about this part of me way. Like self-acceptance can come through exploring things with play. So yeah, that's what I had to share about the spiritual wisdom of Halloween. I think it's a really fun embodiment opportunity. So that was all I had for today.
That's a great way of putting it. I fully agree. The idea that like Halloween is one big embodiment practice, if you really choose to own it that way, and again, something that can continue to kind of carry on beyond the days of Halloween. Like, and I'm sure some of you will kind of understand where I'm coming from on this, but the energy of Halloween, it reminds me of a transformational festival. Like that's what it reminds me of. You know, for those of you, transformational festivals like hippie parties in the woods and, you know, festivals and things like that, you go there and without anybody being told that they have to do this, everybody dresses up, and they always dress up as a kind of like a magical version of themselves, an accentuated version of themselves. And again, it's very much like the activated inner version of how they see themselves. So again, I think with Halloween, it's a great time to either just put on a character, or to kind of like bring forth a version of yourself that doesn't always get seen on the surface, but is still very much a part of you, whether that be, you know, like some sort of like, again, you don't have to dress up as something scary on Halloween. I've dressed up on Halloween. I've dressed up as like various versions of like, yeah, like I guess it's always like some variation of some sort of like Jedi thing now that I think about it. It's like I was like an elf prince once who was also a Jedi. Oh yeah, I was like an anime character once who was also a Jedi. So anyways, that's my excuse. But nonetheless, again, I agree. I think Halloween is a very, very powerful, empowering opportunity, and something that gives us a chance, as Justine was saying, to be able to play with these energies in a safe and accepted way. So yeah, be as slutty of a mouse as you want. Now is the time. Like, we hold space for it, absolutely. So
6 times.
the slutty mouse costume,
Yes.
like specifically,
Like,
I didn't even know slutty
specifically
mouse was a
Karen
thing.
from Mean Girls as a slutty mouse. I used to have blonde hair.
That's
And
I
so
didn't
I would
realize
just
that
wear
was
like a black
okay.
slip dress and like some mouse ears.
That's
And
all it
people would be
takes.
like,
That's
"Oh
all
my
it
God."
takes. Okay, so you're telling me all I need is mouse ears, and that's all it takes for me to be a slutty mouse. That's it. That's all. It's all in the
Slutty
demeanor.
is as slutty does. Slutty is in the
There we
eye of the
go.
beholder.
There we go. So the spiritual and slutty wisdom of Halloween, that's what this podcast is about. Anyways, it's a party, guys. What'd you expect? Come on. Like, if you guys want to like bust open some ciders while listening to this, please, by all means, do whatever you guys want to do. It's all good vibes here, and thank you everyone again just for holding space. And we're gonna pass it. So Kaci, am I passing over to you next? Pass it over to Kaci, and then Z, did you want to go after Kaci, and then we'll probably get into another dance party, I guess, after that. Sure, why not? Yeah, okay. All right, Kaci, we'll pass it over to you. Kaci, thank you for joining. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and even if you want, tell us a bit about your costume and a little bit about the spiritual wisdom of Halloween. Go ahead.
Well, hello everyone. Yeah, you can find me on like Facebook, Instagram through Lunar Moods. Yeah, I'm just creating all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, I can do this full time. Yeah, Halloween's like one of my favorite holidays to celebrate, and this year is going to be my second Samhain, and we're going to be going over to a friend's house and maybe go to a cemetery and do some ghost hunting, and yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and do some celebration with the blue moon, put some intentions. I actually have like an altar just for my ancestors, celebrating my friends that have like passed away, and just a memorial for them, since Halloween is the witches' new year and celebrating the dead and stuff like that. So just wanted to put my 2 cents in, and I don't know what I am. Like, I'm a witch or a gypsy, like running from a mob of people that don't like witches or gypsies.
You're magical, whatever it is. It looks magical. So
Thank you.
it looks awesome. Thank you, Kaci, again for joining us. Wonderful. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. Again, team, I'd love to even just hear what, if anybody has like any sort of special Halloween plans or something like that. Because yeah, again, right. Like if we're going back to this topic that right now it's like, okay, this is a time for us to be able to connect with our ancestors. How do we do that? What does that look like? Well, how can we do that not just in like a spooky, playful way, but in a respectful way, right? Like to be able to, yes, there's kind of multiple facets to the energies at this time. There's a part where we just get to play and run around the bonfire, and again, it's also the kind of like a mischievous time and everything like that as well. But again, I think there's a very, very, if serious is the right word, a very, very real time to be able to honor ancestors, and we'll do a little bit of that during our meditation later to the end of the broadcast, and even during tomorrow's team meditation at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's still a lot more to be able to talk about, so let's pass it over to Z, and I'll go over some notes and see what else we can kind of dive into here. Z, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. We'll pass it over to you. Okay, cool. All right, passing it over to Z. Z, passing it over to you. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about Spiritual Wisdom Halloween and your outfit if you want. So
Okay,
go ahead, Z. Welcome.
cool. Hey, I'm Z. You can find me at the Dr. Z on Instagram. Hi. I didn't know any Halloween spiritual wisdom before this call, but now I feel like I do. but everything I know now at this point has been learned in the last few minutes. I do love the fact that it's a Taurus full moon, and that we get to really lean into our sensuality as well, even if we're, I see you, Zentia. Yeah, and I really liked how earlier they were touching on being self-empowered through the idea of, being okay with materialism, being okay with wanting things in the 3D, and how it's hard sometimes for the spiritual community because we're such self-proclaimed givers, and we think that, it gets hard to assign money or a value in that way for spiritual people for a whole cohort of reasons, right? And then her bringing it up, how we can, again, with the Taurus full moon, remember how it is okay to have these worldly pleasures. And so I'm excited for that. And the fact that it's Halloween, and he totally picked up on, yeah, Z just wants to dance over there. I was like, yeah. I was like, can we play something like, I don't know, superstition? Like, I don't know. Just kidding. But yeah, anyways, this is cool. And now we have a new person. Hi.
Awesome. Wonderful. Z, thank you so much. And what would you call your costume?
Dude,
is this like your true form? Is this what
there was zero planning into this. It was more like, oh, that wig looks like Vibio's logo color. I want to have a blue wig. And the rest just happened. And then I
slap some wings on.
Yeah, exactly. I came in, I put it on. I mean, I unboxed it right before our call. Like, perfect. I was like, okay, this is what I am today. It came out better than expected, to be honest. I didn't know.
What would you call it?
I think you kind of got it. Mystical fairy person.
Yeah, like some kind of fairy princess. Clearly, you're like, again, dressing up as the energy that's already inside intuitively. So I feel like there's some kind of like interesting like divination practice where it's like, say you go into a Halloween store and you use your intuition to find costumes, and then the costume that you end up wearing is like one of your past lives or something like that. It's like you just get like you scry it almost, in a sense. I feel like that's actually a thing.
Dude, that's actually what
that's what you did,
because there was zero thought. It was like, I was like, okay, that, and I have no idea what this is, but I'm gonna go because the store is closing and I gotta go.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, again, I think just kind of the ideas are kind of flowing as we're talking about this. You guys know at this point that that's part of the way we do this broadcast, where we create the container, and then at this point it's kind of a chance for spirit to be able to play. But I do think there is, worth noting the very cool significance that what we dress up as on Halloween says a lot about us. It really does, whether we're like intentionally putting thought into it or just kind of casually doing it. But I do think when you do put that intention into it, it's something to be able to kind of like meditate on, because again, it's just kind of, you look at what we got here. We got people like literally dressing up as chakra goddesses and princesses, and like fox queens and magic witches, sorceress, and everything. It's like, these are all things that are inside of us. And so again, it's just kind of a chance. Like, good God, like, are we this boring 364 days of the year wearing normal clothes? Like, I feel like this is what we should be dressing up as normally. Maybe we do, right? And honestly, like, that was kind of my experience with Halloween. And then I'm gonna pass it to Abby in a second. Abby, thumbs up. I'll pass it over to you in a second. That's cool. And then we'll get into another dance party here. My experience with Halloween, something that I've really had fun playing with, was back in 2016 was the first time that I dressed up as Mystic Spider-Man version of myself on Halloween. And so that was something that I started doing it before Halloween. Like, I'm like, okay, I need to practice this. But I had this whole vision in mind where it's like, okay, like, Halloween's like a month away. I'm going to dress up as my Mystic Spider-Man persona, and then I'm going to go downtown and do free hugs on Halloween with a bunch of other people in costumes, and I'll just kind of blend in. Like, people won't even like think of it. It's just like, oh, this is a costume, right? But then it's just kind of like one of those things, and then and then they see me there next week, and then they see me there the week after. It's like, son of a bitch, that wasn't a costume. Like, oh, that was a uniform. What was that? So it's like, again, I think it's really interesting, because I know for me, it's a very, I love Halloween. I really, really do love Halloween. It's kind of like that playful child inner energy to really be able to bring out, and I think the fact that we do it as a community really helps dissolve the idea that we don't have to worry about people calling us weird or anything. So I think there's a lot to culturally be able to take from the significance of Halloween to be able to bring it over, even without getting too deep into the roots of it. But let's just kind of talk, we'll just kind of go over a few more things. And yeah, we're going to pass it to Abbey now. So Abbey, I'm going to pass it over to you. Please feel free to introduce yourself. And what is the spiritual wisdom of Halloween from your perspective? Welcome, Abbey.
Hello, I'm Abbey. You can find me at Just Ab on TikTok. I'm just starting to post, but there's a few things up there. I was planning an outfit kind of like Z, kind of a fairy goddess thing, but I got here late, so I just got here. I wanted to talk about, well, okay, I started tuning in during the dance part, which I thought was really funny because I'm a dancer and I like to express through dance and heal through dance. And I was going to talk tonight about the dance of death, and I don't know if anyone talked about it yet already, but it's an allegorical concept of the bubonic plague when it wiped out like thousands of people, and also there was the 100-year war going on too, which was actually hundreds of years.
I want to watch Blacklist. Hopefully you'll dance and then we can watch, or unless you're sleepy.
No, I'm wide awake, man.
Go ahead, Abbey.
Yeah, I think you.
Abbey, go ahead. She doesn't know that she's not muted. That's okay. So
okay.
Shout out to Z's roommates. What's up? Or Z's friends. Everybody here. Yo, what's up, Z's friends? Welcome to the party. Okay, Abbey, go ahead where you left off.
Okay, yeah, it was more than 100 years. More than 100 years. But the art was a way to approach the cycle of mortality, and how no matter what your status was in life, if you were a king, a queen, a peasant, a fool, anything, you were going to come across the dance of death. And so I just thought that was really kind of funny because it wasn't actually a Halloween concept when it came out, but through the years, the art has made its way to Halloween. And even Walt Disney made something called the skeleton dance, which was his own version of it. And then there was other orchestras that did their versions on it. I found a really pretty orchestra version. If you guys want to listen to it, it was by Camille Saint-Saëns. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's really pretty. Like you can just feel like the cycle of life flow through the song. I just want to say thanks for sharing the space pretty much, and I'm excited to do a dance party.
Awesome. Thank you, Abbey, for coming here and for sharing some more wisdom on that. And there's a few other things here I just wanted to be able to hit upon. Again, kind of just educationally being able to understand a little bit of the history of Halloween and how we kind of got to where we are to where we are now. So again, just as a quick recap, again, Halloween, going back to Samhain, which again, the Celtic kind of like druid pagan origin, and then like that was something, and then obviously the church getting scared as they normally do and being like, oh, we can't have the pagans praying to things other than our God. Boop, boop, boop. That's my impersonation of the church. Honestly, I love the church, of course, whatever. Anyways, so the church was all like, no, we can't have that because pagans we want people. It's not that it's like, I don't know whether they, I don't know. I'm not the church. I don't really care. But more or less, the church was just like, let's take one of our other holidays and put it near their holiday and slowly just kind of like infiltrate their holiday with our holiday, and then we'll just kind of transform it, and then their tradition will just kind of get diluted, so to speak. This continued over the series of throughout like way back, and then by the time it got to about like the 1800s and everything like that, at that point, like Halloween was nowhere near what it is that we recognize as today, with kind of like the commercial industry and everything of it. So it wasn't until about the 1930s that there was a lot of civic efforts to be able to introduce more of a commercialized version of Halloween. And then part of the reason for that was because back in the early 1900s, during the Depression era and around that, Halloween was often even referred to as Hell Night, and so it was traditionally a night of mischief. So it was basically this case where people were going out and they were stirring trouble, they were smashing windows, they were flipping cows and horses and all sorts of things, you name it. And basically it was getting to the point where there was like too much mischief and things were kind of getting out of control. So then eventually culture, civically, what they started doing is that they started creating parties and they started creating events for the young kids to be able to do, to basically be able to give them something to do other than go out and cause mischief. And then eventually, as this continued to evolve, eventually it slowly started to make its way into media and into Hollywood. By about like into the 1960s, Sears started introducing costumes from their catalog, and then they started kind of like making it this thing. And then eventually they started bringing in candy, and they basically sedated all the kids and bribed them with candy, sort of thing. Don't go out and cause mischief in a way that's actually going to be like bad, but here, have some candy and that will subdue you, sort of thing. So they've been mind controlling us since the very beginning, or something like that. But anyways, and then eventually it kind of made its way into Hollywood, even going into the Peanuts cartoon, like the Peanuts, like the web comic, the newspaper comic. Apparently the internet didn't exist back then. This is news to me. But anyways, it came into Peanuts, and that's where you get like the Great Pumpkin thing, and then eventually the Halloween movies came out, and those didn't come out until the 1970s. So it really wasn't until about the 1970s that we really started to associate Halloween with being like this very like scary time of the year with like frightful things, quite in the same way as what it is that we see today. The other thing that I just wanted to be able to mention, and also yeah, like Sam Wayne, I know this is already mentioned, Sam Wayne is like basically like the Celtic New Year is essentially, again, another part of it as well. And again, going back to the idea, it's a veil as very thin, honoring the dead, inviting in good spirits, warding off the other spirits. But the other thing that was very, very interesting, and then we'll get into the dancing here, was the idea that the Halloween also kind of like has its roots going back to era of like the Civil War. So when the Civil War happened, there was this whole kind of period, and this actually ties into even what we were talking about last podcast about like the spiritual wisdom of ghosts and hauntings and everything. So when the Civil War happened in like 1860s, there were a lot of bodies and a lot of like soldiers that were basically left unknown. Like people couldn't really find a way to be able to like bring them back to their families and stuff. So basically what kind of happened is that it was in the Halloween following the Civil War, that's when the ghost stories started to emerge. That's when people started saying, you know, it's just like the dead soldiers were like trying to find their way home. And this is when you started to get like the hauntings and the actual experiences with the ghost sightings and the ghost hauntings that still continue to this day. So again, a lot of like the spooky ghost stuff didn't really come into the Halloween specifically until later on as well. Let me just go over a couple different notes here. Yeah. Again, I think in addition to kind of like all the spooky stuff, I really like focusing on the idea that through the darkness is a great time to be able to kind of like ignite our inner light, ignite our creativity, ignite our inner hero, and also to be able to make the sacrifice of our ego, to be able to sacrifice our own inner demons, so to speak, to be able to make room for new light. And it is through this sacrifice that we help others continue to sacrifice their egos as well. And I'm not literally saying like kill the ego, but again, you know, like more so symbolically alchemize the ego as well. So preparing to go inwards, and through the process of going inwards, we learn to be able to shine outwards as well. Let's get ready to move into our next dance party, and then we'll go into a little bit more popcorn style discussion. Again, I'd love to just be able to hear some brainstorming on what are some ways we can kind of modernize the traditions of Halloween, even if you guys just kind of want to brainstorm, even if it's just kind of like obvious ways of meditating, or, you know, like candlelight like magic and full moon magic and stuff like that. We'll talk more about it. For now, let's get into our next dance party. If you guys are yeah, and again, so I'm saying like the haunting stuff, I'm just reading the YouTube chat. The haunting stuff is kind of like came in through the Halloween. The haunting stuff related to Halloween came following the Civil War. The spirit stuff was always associated with the Halloween, because again, that's what we were talking about, is about honoring the dead, honoring the ancestors and stuff like that. But the haunting stuff, more so within how we modernize the current interpretation of Halloween, really began to pick up steam within the years following the Civil War, where there were kind of like more of the sightings and the experiences and everything like that. Yeah, sorry, not to confuse you guys, and if I am confused, then please feel free to correct me in any way. All right, let's get ready to go into another one of our dance parties here. So this is going to be another song by our friend Spaceship Earth. Let me just take 2 seconds here to be able to get things all set up and ready to go. So if you guys want to just be able to get yourself ready to be able to dance, you can kind of like change your mood lighting, whatever it may be. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much everyone for again for joining in. We're going to get into more discussion afterwards. And then from there, we're going to get into a little bit of a meditation. And then following the meditation, there's going to be another dance party there as well. So let me just set things up real quick. Okay, cool. There's a little bit of audio within this one as well. So this track is actually called Shamanic Initiation. So, all right. Okay, here we go, team. For those of you in the Zoom chat, give me a thumbs up once you can hear the music. For everybody else, thank you so much for joining in. Shout out to Spaceship Earth, spaceshipearth.bandcamp.com. Find the link in the YouTube. Use this dance as a way to kind of like connect with like honoring the spirit, honoring the earth, honoring your inner light, honoring that creative energy flowing through you, honoring whatever this moment means to you. So going quiet on my mic, bringing up the music, and yeah, let's get ready to dance. So thank you again, everyone, and happy Halloween. Woo! Okay, here we go. 2 seconds here.
As citizens of planet Earth, we all have this sense of duty and responsibility towards the Earth. It's our responsibility to ensure that the future generations have something left, because there are people coming after us who need to exist.
And I truly believe that we can live in a world that is better than it is today, and that our individual contribution can add up to something better.
Awesome. All right. Wonderful. Good job, everyone. You guys can make yourself back down to seat in or just keep dancing by all means. I know it's once you get going, it's hard to stop. But thank you again to our friend Spaceship Earth for being able to help provide the music. We got another song for them a little bit later in the broadcast. And again, keeping in theme with the party, we're going to finish things off with some more dancing. So what we're going to do now is we just bring ourselves back down to a little bit more into discussion. We're going to start working our way up to a little bit of the meditation. And again, in theme with what we've been talking about here, I'd love to be able to get your insight here as a team. Again, kind of approaching this as a bit of a panel discussion as a team. Like, how can we in the modern age create ceremony and to honor these energies and to connect with our ancestors and to connect with this idea of the thinning of the veil? How do we use this time? What's the purpose of this time? What can we do to be able to make the most of it? How can we do this both to be able to create a deeper connection with the spirits and with our connection to the earth inside of us, so to speak? So I'd love to be able to just kind of open the mic up to anybody who feels called to be able to join in, whether you're even just talking about some of your own personal practices during this time, some brainstorming ideas. Again, I think for ourselves, I think we're already doing it simply by coming together as community. I think coming together as community is a great thing to be able to do during these times. And obviously we see that kind of in the festives of Halloween, people coming together. And so just being able to surround ourselves with loved ones, to be able to surround ourselves with the warmth and the kindness of loved ones. Because I think in some ways, honoring our ancestors, honoring those that have passed on, can be done in just being able to connect with the gratitude for those who are here and now. Don't take those relationships for granted, so to speak. So just being able to surround ourselves with the warmthness of those who we care and those who we love about. So I think in that sense, this is a great way for us to be able to practice Halloween in a spiritual context, to be able to come together as community, and again also to be able to use it as a chance, as we've kind of talked about, to be able to practice playing with our creative energies, to be able to practice playing with our creativity, to be able to practice playing with the many facets of our spirit, to be able to bring out more of this creative, multi-dimensional aspect of who we are, whether we're dressing up as kind of like a more embodied magical version of ourselves, or maybe we're playing with the shadow side of ourselves, so to speak. Again, I think it's really honoring the idea that no single person is purely just nothing but light. All of us carry our shadows. We honor our shadows, and we get to bring our shadows out. Again, it's kind of like honoring the journey that we move through, as the shadow being a big part of it as well. So I just somebody go ahead and just put your hand up, and we'll just kind of brainstorm here, even if you guys again just kind of speak into the audience in either just sort of practical context. What are some of the ways that you're personally celebrating Halloween from a spiritual perspective to honor the energy of this time? Kristen, we'll pass it over to, did you have your hand up, Kristen? If so, we'll pass it over to Kristen. Okay, pass it over to Princess Zelda. Go ahead, Princess Zelda.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, Princess Zelda, that's my favorite embodiment to be. So I'm very grateful to get the chance to channel some amazing Zelda power wisdom over here. So I don't think I said earlier, but yeah, I'm Pin Oak Rising. You guys can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all that fun stuff. But as far as how I'm celebrating this beautiful Halloween full moon, so we are so lucky to have a blue moon this month. That is the second full moon within a month, and it does not happen often. So absolutely a beautiful time, and the fact that it coincides with Halloween is so powerful, in the fact that we are given the possibility to transform ourselves in a profound way if we so choose. And in transformation, we release the parts of us that we either no longer are serving us, or that we are no longer feeling connected with, and call upon the energies that we wish to embody. And so really being able to take advantage of that in all kinds of ways. There's all kinds of different ways you can celebrate this. Personally, I have a pretty powerful ceremony that I do and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for it this year. But I always host a large fire, and I write out on leaves that I have gathered from the woods that are already fallen, that have crisped and are dead. And I write on these leaves the different parts of my life that I am releasing. And as I throw them in the fire, I call upon my ancestors and my guides and my angels to really empower me to be able to release these things from my life. And then after that ceremony is over, I'll typically have a powerful dance session like Abbey was talking about. I'm super grateful because your body is a powerful vessel that you have been given to help encode what you wish into this space. And so I will do that and probably have some singing session as well. But then after that's over, I will sit down and write out my intentions in paper with a candle. I'll light my candle and set an intention ceremony and pull some cards, some tarot cards if I feel called, which I probably will, just to kind of give some light on where my intention should go. And then I really set what exactly I want to see. And I get really specific with it because this full moon is going to be super powerful for setting those intentions. And so, as many of these beautiful, amazing creators have already said, dream big, set your goals high. The limit is only as high as you place it. You are a limitless, infinite, divine being, and you can reach the goals you want. You have only to set them for yourself in order to reach them. So that's my full moon ceremony, and I just encourage you guys to really hold your power in these moments coming up, and know that you are your highest limit. So just dream big and set those goals high, sweet amazing souls. And thank you for the dance party.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen, for sharing your insight on that. And again, in just us talking about this here, we got an entire weekend ahead. Again, Halloween is not literally just going to be Saturday night. Any of these ceremonies are something that you could do today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, leading into these energies. So just inviting you to be able to make this something unique and special for you in whatever way that may look. So yeah, again, team, I really just thank everybody so much for being here, because we're having fun, we're celebrating, again, we're reflecting on where we've been, reflecting where we are, reflecting on where we're going, letting go of the things that no longer serve us, tapping into our creative energies as well. And this is very, very powerful. It's sometimes, even as those of us, we spend a lot of time working, a lot of us, we're working a lot and everything. So just being able to take time to kind of let loose and decompress is very, very, very important. And then we kind of like bring our energies back to the center, but bring them back in a focused way. So I'm looking forward. You guys probably saw I did a little TikTok video, and please just go ahead. Let me know who wants to jump in next with any additional things you guys want to talk about. Placid or Zentia, and then Abbey. You guys probably saw, like, in my TikTok video that I posted earlier in the week, where I was like, is anybody else really excited about the idea that this is the first Halloween where we're all woke and we get to like dress up together? Like when you think about it, right? I mean, last year's Halloween, we weren't all here. I mean, yes, this project was here, but I mean, the TikTok awakening of 2020 hadn't happened yet, and now here we are. So it's just kind of like, okay, this changes things. And so this gives us a great chance to be able to really utilize these energies, and then maybe set new traditions, and maybe this idea of doing like these dance parties as us as a community is something that will continue, or maybe we'll see again. I'd love to just kind of open up the discussion to hear some other different ideas of how we honor the energies of these time. Zentia, I'll pass it over to you if you're ready. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Amazing. Okay, so first of all, Christian, that was an amazingly beautiful ceremony. I'm gonna have to copy you. If I'm honest, gonna have to steal that. I wanted to encourage everybody to take a look and sit in meditation to channel your energies from the past, your ancestors, and look it up, Google it, see what the goddesses, the gods, the deities were for your culture, and then take a look and see what your ancestors used to do to honor people, to honor their ancestors, to honor their culture. And this Halloween, as you let things go, maybe there's a ceremony that will be special to you that you will find. Um, and if you look at our DNA, we're full of all types of amazing cultures. No matter where we've landed in this lifetime or where we were in the lifetime before. For me personally, I've been here for thousands of years. Like, I've seen a lot of different cultures. So when I look through my what I want to do, and I've got some good options, and I believe we all do. So take a good look at what you have deep down inside and close your eyes. Throw on a Celtic meditation. Throw on an African meditation. Throw on a Native American one, a shaman drum beat. See what comes out. And then do your prayers. Put some fruits out. Because I believe every ancestor likes some fresh food, some bounty. So that's what I have to say. That was my little tidbit. Love, peace, and pineapples, guys.
Love, peace, and pineal pineapples, right? Like, that's the idea of pineapples. Got it this time. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Zentia. All right, let's keep passing it along and make room for everybody else who wants to share. We'll pass it over to Abbey. Who wants to go after Abbey? Just to be able to put your hand up. Go ahead and let me know. All right, if anybody wants to go in after Abbey, we'll go from there. And Abbey, pass it over to you. Go right ahead.
Okay, so this is my second Halloween that I'm not really doing anything, like going to parties, really. I'm not like planning any big dress up or anything. Last year I kind of took a step back from like the social aspect of Halloween, and I just passed out candy, and I thought that was a nice tradition to start. But this year is the first year I am actually embracing my spirituality. So to honor that, I thank you. To honor that, I mean, I think it's funny that we were talking about ancestors today, and I was on Zentia's meditation this morning, and we were talking about our ancestors and Grandma Spider. And my mom brings up to me the fact that, you know, I had ancestors on her side that were very highly spiritually gifted that I didn't know about. So there was that. And then I had a channel from my grandfather that he connects to us through soul music. So like jazz music and just like drums and like deep like bass. And so then after that, my mom like put that music on, and it was really weird. But so I think I'm gonna try this Halloween to just reflect on where I was last year and the goals like that I had set for myself, because they were not this. It was not this. I don't know how I got here, but it happened. And it was really just it was opening myself up and just loving myself. So I'm gonna celebrate my love for myself and my ancestors' love for me through this journey, and because they've been with me through the whole time since I was young. So I'm just gonna start doing that now, probably listening to music and dancing on Halloween. And I'm going to, of course, embody my I don't know, fairy goddess, dance mystic. I don't know what I am, but I'm gonna embrace it. And I suggest everyone do the same.
That's awesome. I love that. Again, just kind of we get so deep into the discussion here, sometimes we kind of overlook the simple things, but Abbey just being able to emphasize that, like, yeah, like use Halloween as a chance to love yourself. Really love yourself, like love your journey, love your story. Like, that's a very, very important thing of it, because I think like until you honor your past, it will be harder for you to create your future, so to speak, you know? So if you can just kind of like, you don't have to be like fully, like you can look at your past from a variety of perspectives, but even to, without having to say, oh, I'm glad that happened, but I honor the fact that helped make me into who I am today. And I love myself who I am right now, and really being able to just kind of like sit with that. That's a very, very powerful energy to be able to bring into this time. So seeing beyond the commercial aspects of Halloween and all just that, this is a celebration of you. This is a celebration of your soul, of your journey. Keep it simple, keep it personal, keep it about your connection with your journey, your ancestors, your darkness, your light, whatever it may be. So yeah, I think that's a great thing. And Abbey, I think the word that you use there is a word that's very powerful. Embodiment. This is a great time for us to embody what it is that we are here to be, to practice embodying. Like, that's the thing. Embodying literally doesn't just happen just like that. But one of the great ways to be able to embody it is through physical movement, is through action, is through ceremony, is through personal ritual, whatever that may be. But yeah, don't like dance as if you're a goddess, dance as if you're a prince, dance as if you're a princess, because you are these things on these cosmic levels. And it's not just something where we're just kind of like, again, it's a big difference between dressing up and like dressing out or dressing in, so to speak. So it's like, this is something that's already inside of me. This isn't me putting on a costume. This is something of me accentuating my inner truth. And so again, very much in theme with what we do within our team podcast or within our meditations, when we talk about activating the light guardian archetype. This is essentially what this is. Like, next time I'll just say like, activate your Halloween costume, and you guys will like understand what I'm talking about, because it'll be more or less the exact same thing. So one thing I was just going to mention here real quick, and somebody just let me know who wants to go next so I can pass it to you right away as soon as I'm ready to here. Kristen, did you want to go next again? Yeah, again, it's popcorn style at this point, guys. You guys are welcome to jump in. So again, just kind of we'll move close into a little bit of the meditation, and for those of you, I'll also be looking for volunteers to be able to help facilitate in the meditation. We've done this before where we'll just be kind of speaking from the heart. But one thing that's this is hard to say of whether how much this is actually true and stuff like that, but I was listening to one video, and it was basically the guy talking about how okay, we take Halloween back to like the Celtic origins, but where did it come before that? This is something that was just like, it's like, oh, we don't really have the history of that. This is where it kind of gets into the idea of like ancient history that we have kind of lost, things that we have kind of lost the records of, and depending on what version of history you actually subscribe to and stuff like that, this is where, from one perspective, this isn't even so much me hearing this and just regurgitating what I heard, but I can't help but just kind of wonder about, you know, what the world would have looked like many eons ago, and how a version of this ceremony would still have existed even during times of ancient culture. Like I'm talking like Atlantis, like Lemuria and stuff like that. And what was it then? Or I'm even talking about, you know, like the period of like beings migrating from the inner earth realms up to the surface and things. Did the inner earth realm beings, do they have like their own sort of like spirit ancestor ceremonies and things like that? I love how I just talk about the inner earth beings as if it's just like, this is a real thing, guys. Like, I'm just on that train now. Again, everything I say, just consider it information, but if you want to go back and check out the episode about Hollow Earth, please feel free to do that. But it does make you wonder how, you know, again, what we're seeing now is an echo of something that is much older, and again, I think is deeply rooted in our inherent awareness as spiritual beings, and our inherent awareness of understanding a little bit more about what this reality is, and really honoring the multidimensional ocean that we are a part of, and honoring the spirits and everything like that. Because that's the thing, right? Like, I know we've been talking here, and I'll pass over to Kristen in a second. We've been talking here with this idea of like, okay, this is about honoring the ancestors, honoring the spirits, and we're talking about this in the concept of like beings that have passed on, or you know, linearly have passed in the past. But what about just the idea of like honoring the spirits, like the spirits of the earth, the spirit of the trees, the spirit of the waters, the spirit of the forest, you know, the spirit of the energies, the spirit of the fae, the spirit of, you know, the angels, the beings, all of the benevolent beings, even if you want, even kind of like honoring, again, like the spirit of the less than benevolent beings. I mean, I don't know, that's kind of like a different thing to kind of get into, but just kind of like acknowledging that, like, yeah, like this is us kind of reminding ourselves of our bigger cosmic story, of our bigger cosmic identity, so to speak. So I think Halloween kind of becomes a mirror for where your consciousness is. And I'll just say this is actually, I'm listening to myself say this, where it's like, depending on one's level of conscious awareness, I think Halloween will be a reflection of that state of consciousness. Meaning, if they're pretty ingrained in the matrix and they're kind of sleepwalking through life and they haven't gone through their spiritual awakening, they'll look at Halloween and they'll see it as another chance for them to kind of like get drunk and party and dress up and do all these fun things and everything like that. As you continue to awaken and you naturally kind of tap into these energies, whether you're listening to this podcast or not, and you naturally kind of start going back to this idea of feeling the thinness of the veil, feeling the closeness of the spirit. And quite frankly, like that's the thing, this spiritual energy, it's always there. It's always there. It's not like it comes and goes. It's always there. It's just kind of like when there's like this additional like moon energy and seasonal energy. I don't exactly fully understand why it's thinner, but it is. It's more of like a cosmic thing. But again, I think as you kind of go through your spiritual awakening, you'll find that will be reflected in how you celebrate Halloween, where you either bring in kind of like those conscious themes, or you honestly don't even pay attention to them at all. But how can we as a community, while still having the fun of the celebration and the dance and all of that stuff, do it in a way that is like respectful of our ancestors? Because quite frankly, I think our ancestors would want us to party hard. Like our ancestors are like, you are alive right now. You have hands and feet. You can taste things. You can move things with your body. You can love things. You can feel the fire. You can feel the space. You can feel the music. You can feel the drums. Feel that. Celebrate that. Do it on our behalf. So it's kind of like inviting in kind of like the presence of the ancestors, where it's like we're dancing on their behalf. Like suddenly this begins to take on almost like a different mode of like literally you dance with your ancestors being here with you, literally, and celebrating, dancing with your ancestors. That's a very, very powerful idea. Anyways, honestly, guys, I'm just kind of like, it's piecing itself together as I'm kind of saying it, but if this makes sense or if this resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat, because again, I think as a spiritual community, if we can start carrying that message that yes, let's use Halloween as a prompt to really invite people to begin connecting both with the energy of honoring our ancestors, honoring life, honoring spirit, honoring the transformation, honoring the seasons, honoring the cycle, honoring the light shining within the darkness, honoring the darkness itself, honoring our creativity, tapping into that inner higher dimensional version of ourselves and bringing it out to play. That's the spiritual wisdom of Halloween that I want to be able to continue to kind of like keep supporting. And I think it does come up. It does make itself more present simply through, us talking about it here, and us, making TikToks and videos and talking about it more and having our own personal gatherings and everything like that. So shout out again to everybody within this kind of like community of people who are spiritually awakening. May whatever message is brought through this discussion be something that can, in some ways, put a smile on our ancestors' face, because very much like with the Day of the Dead, the Dia de Muerte, they say that, we keep our ancestors alive by speaking of them. So I think in some ways, we would honor their heart to just be able to see us during Halloween and to just be like, oh, wow, like they're thinking about us. They haven't forgotten us. And they will be with you. They will, your guides, your spirit guides, your ancestors, whatever you want to think of it as. But again, it's just probably like, I almost see like in some bizarre perspective of Halloween where it's just kind of like, your ancestors are just kind of like, they're like sitting there on the cosmic sidelines, and it's like, oh, Halloween comes again. Here comes another Halloween where my like drunk grandson won't give two craps about us, his awesome ancestors. Why should he? It's not like the veil is thin or anything. They're like getting very like kind of like insulted by it. And so here again, it's just like, it's like they're a cosmic phone call away. They're a breath away. They're us being able to connect with our heart. They are so close. All we have to do is just kind of like send out the signal. Pick up the cosmic phone. Hey, grandma. Hey, granddad. Hey, ancestors. I love you. And if that can be Halloween plus all the other stuff, then I think that's pretty important, personally. So shout out to our ancestors who are watching us right now and smiling along. So let's pass it over to, sorry, who wanted to go next? Did Kristen want to go next? Who wants to go after Kristen? Again, any other perspectives? We'll get into kind of like somewhat closing thoughts, and then we'll get into not fully closing thoughts, but again, practical advice, suggestions. Anybody tell us about the things that you're doing on either this full moon, bringing the Halloween full moon words. Let's pass it over to Kristen. Kristen, go ahead. Pass it over to you when you're ready.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness, Brendon. I'm so glad that you mentioned, and I believe Abbey, sorry guys, I have my TikTok. I'm a little distracted, but I did want to mention too, before I do my fire ceremony, it is so important. I can't believe I forgot to mention. But I do hold a meditation before I get started where I do honor my ancestors that have passed. And I also honor the past parts of myself. So I reflect upon the parts of myself that are no longer existing, like the parts of me that have died, so to speak. Or the parts of me that I have let go, and I honor them. And so, what that looks like is basically just like remembering the parts of yourself that you've had to let go and thanking them for what they have taught you and what they have brought to your existence, because you would not be the amazing, beautiful, wonderful person that you are this day right now without that past version of yourself. And so it is super important to honor that journey, that path that you have been through, and that soul that you maybe the parts of you that you no longer connect with. And so, yeah, especially on Halloween, whenever the veil is thin and all timelines are a little bit closer. So being able to kind of just really honor the parts of you that aren't here and reflect upon what they have taught you and appreciate them, because yeah, if you hadn't experienced those parts of you that you did had to let die and transform, then you wouldn't be the amazing, beautiful butterfly soul that you are today. So I just wanted to say that, because it's really important before you do all the rest of the things that are more like calling in your power and setting your intentions, all of that, is to really just honor where you've been and what you've been through, because yeah, that's just gonna like amplify the power of the magic that you're doing. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you as well, Kristen. Let's keep passing it over. Justine, did you want to go next? We'll pass it right over to you then. Go ahead, Justine. Follow up on that.
Okay, so I sort of have mentally synthesized what Zentia and you, Brendon, and what Kristen just said all together. So I'm going to try and articulate what just happened in my mind for all y'all. So when Zentia was speaking about our cultural heritage, this is something for me that I actually didn't realize that my grandmother, my mother's mother, and my great grandmother on my father's side had passed down through, I guess you'd say, like rituals of living. And it hasn't been until like the past couple of years for me where I was like, oh, whispering your intentions for the day into your tea is like ancient Slavic magic. Like that's fully witchcraft. Like there's no fine line gray area. That is fully like a spiritual practice that even the USSR was afraid to squash, because guess what? If somebody got sick, it was hard to get medicine and you wanted to go to the witch in your town for help. And so I just encourage anybody, even if you're like, I'm a white trash redneck by heritage, figure out what that is for you. Because I guarantee that there's something besides like bush light in there for you that's valuable to find. That's like a really niche joke for, you know, the handful of us who think it's funny. You know, but on the other side of my family, originally we came over as Celtic heritage immigrants into Appalachia, and that is a huge, deep spiritual tradition, and I wasn't aware of it. I was like, yeah, I lost something, the little men took it, like, you know, just things that I think you'll find if you start to think deeply and learn more about your cultural traditions and what they might be based on what little you may know, because I knew teeny tiny amount about my family when I started. You'll find there are big moments of learning and knowledge in there, and at least for me, it's really deepened the way I direct my practice, because I don't feel the need to rely on what's popular or what's trending on TikTok. I'm like, I know that for me, the relationship I have with the tea I drink every day is like 10 out of 10 important. And I know for me, you know, if I lose something, or, you know, when people start discussing different Celtic practices, that's something for me to like, open my ear and pay some attention to. So I really encourage that. And as you do that, reconnecting with your heritage in terms of your ancestors, in terms of the person you have been over time. Um, I really encourage everyone to journal. I'm like re-engaging with my own journaling around this time. And the other thing I think about a lot as someone who does human design readings, has practiced astrology for like a decade, is like, sure, we celebrate New Year's on January 1st, but like, why? Why? Like, Julius Caesar made a calendar that didn't line up with any of the math they knew about the universe, and we all just accept that, like, that day one is New Year's, which is fine. Celebrate New Year's, like, make your resolutions, whatever, but also think about, like, your solar return, your birthday. That's you've been around, you've been through a whole year yourself. Is that your new year? I always think about that as a New Year's for myself. And when it comes to Halloween, that's the day the veil is thinnest in terms of the cultural practices that I'm engaged with and aware of. And so if that veil is thin, most thin on one day a year, is that not the new year spiritually? And if you thought about it as spiritual New Year's, how would you treat your journaling practice? How would you treat your ancestor practice? How would you treat your shadow work, light work practices? What would you choose to embody? How would you engage with it? Would you do journaling? Would you do like self-growth, self-examination, learn, like, what are you choosing for yourself? And I think it's meaningful to think about what you're choosing for yourself all the time, but I think there are a few cues, through the year, depending what your practices are. Maybe that's moons for you, or equinoxes, or religious holidays. But to me, in the spiritual community, Halloween is almost like a gimme of like, the veil is thinnest. Let's think about this consciously.
Wonderful. Very well said. Thank you so much, Justine. Yeah, like straight up. I think again, if we can kind of just like start getting out this message that, yeah, like this is our New Year's. Like this is a pretty big day, right? Like let's not let this day go by without really celebrating it together as a team. And again, going back to the theme, I mentioned this earlier, but this is a very, very powerful idea. The idea that, with this being the new year, we have this theme of it starting with darkness. So this is very different from, again, kind of like how we normally look at days, where days normally start with the sunrise and start with the light and they end with the darkness. But what if it starts with the darkness? Because when you start looking at all the other things in reality, everything starts with darkness. Mm-hmm. Everything starts from darkness. The seed starts from darkness. The child within the womb starts from darkness. The universe starts from a nothing voidness of some sort, if that makes sense to you. So again, I think it's kind of like this idea where, instead of just being like, oh boy, it's sunny and bright out, and then the night comes and it's like, oh no, what do I do? Instead, it's like, you are born out of the crucible of darkness. You are born out of being able to kind of like feel what it's like to ignite that inner beacon, that inner light as well. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that the veil being thin here does correlate with this idea of kind of, this is us coming closer to where we're from, this origin point, this start point, this darkness. So that is why, again, I think in a lot of like subconscious, ultra conscious ways, we are so fascinated with darkness, because it is actually us returning home. It is actually us like connecting with a deep part of ourself that we've kind of gone so far away from that we kind of forgot that it's there. And then with the invitation to be able to say like, oh yeah, the darkness, you know what? I actually kind of like the darkness. I have fun playing with the darkness. And again, not even just darkness in the sense of like good versus evil, but again, it's just kind of like a yin and a yang type of thing. So yeah, again, I think just kind of keeping it practical, and somebody let me know who do we want to pass it to next, and we'll get close to moving into a little meditation where, again, we're going to be kind of like connecting with these energies and honoring these ancestors as well. If anybody else wants to jump in before that though, go ahead and let me know. But yeah, again, I think, again, with these energies being thin, with the veil being thin, it's a very, very powerful time to just kind of practice like slowing down, to be able to practice listening, to be able to practice getting clear, to be able to practice receiving messages, to be able to practice putting forth messages, to be able to drop into this very like intimate setting. So I think you kind of have two sides of Halloween. You know, it's always like Halloween itself has a yin and a yang, where on one side it's kind of like, you know, like very hedonistic and physical and material, and you're out there and you're partying and you're engaging and you're eating chocolates, and then you're getting sick because you ate too many damn chocolates or something like that, and then you pack it all away and then you just kind of forget that it ever happened. Or we can really kind of bring things into a very intentional space where it's very much connecting with this idea of kind of like slowing down and getting very serene and very quiet and very still. And again, I think that practice of getting still is also the practice of listening to our own heart, listening to the wisdom of our own heart, listening to our own inner spirit, listening to the consciousness speaking through our own heart. So with that said, unless anybody else has something that they want to be able to jump in with, I think we're about ready to be able to go into a little bit of a meditation practice. Does anybody else want to jump in at this moment? And we'll still have a little bit more to talk about afterwards. But yeah, at this point, we'll put the things that we've talked about into a little bit of practice. So what we're going to do a little bit of a meditation. And so this meditation, we're going to kind of wing it. We're going to kind of let spirit kind of work with us here. We're going to start off, I'll start us off by just kind of like doing a white light around our body, which will again just kind of like help us through this meditation, help us focus, help us relax our body. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine ourselves arriving at the dream tree, the life tree, the guardian tree. This is this very sacred tree. We go back to this time and time again as community. It's this beautiful iridescent tree. It has a life force to it. It symbolically kind of like connects to the earth, connects to Gaia, branches connect to the heavens, it connects to the realms. Very, very powerful tree. And again, we go there during our team meditations on Friday, plus other meditations. But for this one, what we're going to do, we're going to imagine ourselves arriving there, and then we're going to imagine even just kind of like I'm just kind of imagining like, you know, having some kind of bonfire somewhere. But maybe even the idea of like almost like having like the tree at the center and then having a bonfire on each node, like north, south, east, west. I feel like that could be a thing. And then so just kind of like imagining the scene. And then what we're going to kind of do there, we're going to kind of just kind of like practice dropping into this meditative space. And then we're just going to kind of like really connect with our heart, connect with stillness, connect with our ancestors. And we'll kind of work through it where we're also focusing again both on where we have been, where we are, honoring the cycles, and then also kind of like cultivating, this is the important part, cultivating the inner light, honoring the inner light, and kind of like birthing it inside of us, bringing it out of us, and bringing it out of us within the shadow. And then from there, as we kind of do this meditation, we'll transition it into dance, and then we'll kind of go, so we'll walk you through it, and then from there we'll naturally kind of transition from like a meditation to ecstatic dance, to this again, this practice of just being able to feel the creative energy flowing through you. So by the time you're done this, hopefully again, the intention here would for it to just be a chance to just kind of like connect with your own relationship with spirit, with ancestors, and to be able to cultivate your own inner light, and then to be able to bring it forth through celebration and embodiment through the process of ecstatic dance. So what I need now, I need a couple people, maybe even just 2 or 3, to be able to volunteer who would like to be able to kind of like speak during the meditation. For those of you who have done this before, you guys kind of know what I'm going to do, where we'll kind of set it up. And then at that point, it will just kind of be like speaking from the heart. And it won't be like, you don't have to like take us on some big journey. It'll just kind of be speaking from the heart. Hands up, who wanted to be able to jump in for that part? Kristen, you've done it before. Justine, did you have your hand up? I feel I'd be confident with you being able to do it as well. And anybody else feeling like they might want to be able to jump in for that? And if so, it'll just be myself, Kristen, and Justine. Okay, we'll do it with that. That's totally cool. That's totally fine. That's enough. Okay, so with that said, everyone, let's get nice and comfortable and get ready to be able to drop into this meditation. So if everybody wants to just be able to get themselves ready, get some water nearby, get themselves nice and comfortable. Do this preferably sitting up opposed to lying down. And thank you again, everyone, so much for being here. And then after this, we'll this will segue into the dance. We'll come back, we'll do some closing discussion, and then we'll be done. and we'll carry this energy with us. So again, this broadcast, both through us creating space to be able to explore this wisdom and bring it to the surface, this is about cultivating this inspiration and bringing it beyond this moment, bringing it with us into the ongoing relationship that we have with this very special time, and with our community, and with ourselves, and with spirit. So thank you again, everyone, so much. If you guys are ready to be able to do this, those of you on the YouTube chat, go ahead and drop an 1111. This won't be too long. So thank you again just for being able to be here and for adding your energy as collectively, as a team, we bring in this practice of honoring the very, very special energies that we have to work with here at this time. So, and collectively putting out that intention for the collective as well. So, okay. So with that said, everyone, go ahead, get yourself nice and comfortable, nice and ready. Just give me 2 seconds here. Just going to be able to prepare to bring up some additional, for those of you on YouTube, you'll hear a little bit of additional audio in the background for some meditation music. So, okay, we're good to go. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. When you're ready, get nice and comfortable. And as you listen to my voice, begin connecting with your breath. Soft, gentle inhales. And soft, gentle exhales. With each breath, just allowing yourself to arrive in this present moment, arriving into this practice. Straighten up your posture, open up your chest, relax your face. And just taking this opportunity to really just connect with the breath. Soft, gentle inhales. And soft, gentle exhales. Feeling the life force of this moment. Feeling the spirit that moves through your breath. Beautiful. As we move into this meditation, we'll start off by simply visualizing a light at the center of our chest, and this light will move through our body. It will both relax our limbs as well as just support us through this journey. So imagine in this moment this light at the center of your chest, whatever color you choose. Imagine it moving through your chest, through your shoulders, down through your arms, your elbows, your hands, and as it moves through those parts of the body, consciously giving those parts of the body permission to relax. Feeling this energy moving down through your torso, your stomach, your hips, all the way down past your groin, your legs, your knees, your thighs, right down to your toes. Giving permission to those parts of the body to relax, filling yourself with light as if you fill a cup with water. Feeling this energy moving up through the spine, all the way up through the back, up through the back of the head, through the face, all the way to the top of the body. And just imagining it just expanding into our field, our aura, our morphogenetic field. And just breathing in, feeling this light moving with the breath, constantly in its cycle. Beautiful. This light will support us. This light will guide us. From here, let us gently begin to imagine ourselves arriving at the guardian tree, the life tree, the world tree. So just imagine yourself just kind of like entering into a dream. And as you do this, you can imagine us slowly walking towards the tree. And as we walk towards the tree, we can see this beautiful full moon up above us. And you look to your left and your right, and you can see your friends, everybody here in this community arriving together. And you see the beautiful outfits that they have on in this moment, dressed up, dressed in, dressed out as these magical versions of themselves. And so, over these next few moments, as you continue to connect with your breath here, imagine everybody slowly just making themselves comfortable as we sit in a circle around this beautiful tree, connecting back with this ancient ceremony, returning back to the roots of our ancestors. And you can see that there are 4 bonfires underneath the tree, One at the north, one at the east, one at the south, and one at the west. All 4 directions. These bonfires remind us of the light within us, and they serve as beacons to be able to invite in the spirits of our ancestors so that they can find our way here with us now. And so on this night, on this moment, this energy of Halloween, Samhain, Hallows Eve, whatever word you're putting with it, spiritual new year, see this as an opportunity, see this as a ceremony. And so you can imagine all of us just kind of sitting here in this circle, nice and cozy, meditating together, breathing together, feeling the energy of the tree moving through the air, moving through us. And so, in this moment, let us honor the energies of this time as we open our heart, as we open our minds, and to the spirits all around us. We see you, we thank you, we honor you. And to our ancestors, we see you, we thank you, we honor you. And in this moment, inviting you to specifically focus on the memory of your ancestors, expressing your gratitude from your heart, feeling their presence within your being, reminding yourself that they are still here with us, that they walk alongside of us, that they love us, that they care for us. And with the magical energies of this time, let us honor the path that we walk, the path behind us, the path we are on, the path before us. And continuing to breathe here, I'll invite us to be able to take a moment within our own silence to be able to speak to our ancestors, to speak with gratitude, to speak with admiration, to invite them into this space, to invite them into this ongoing story. And then after that, we'll pass it over to Kristen, and Kristen will practice speaking from their heart to be able to invite us through this meditation. So in this moment, as you look perhaps at the bonfire before you, with the tree behind it, you see this beautiful, magnificent tree reaching to the skies, its roots deep down into the earth, this beautiful full moon energy over us, inviting in this very intentional energy. And so take these next few moments within your own silence to speak and to feel and to listen and to converse with the benevolent guides, with the benevolent ancestors that are here with you on this journey, that have been with you all along. What do you have to say to them as you invite them into this space, as you invite them into this celebration, and even inviting them to be able to join us in dancing a little bit later on? I'll stop talking here, but just allow yourself to turn your attention inwards, turn your attention to your inner light, and speak from your heart to your ancestors. What do you wish to say to them now? Do this now. Continuing here for just a few more moments, and then we'll pass the talking stick over to Christine. Continue to commune, speak with your ancestors. Feel their presence, feel their love. Gently continuing to breathe, allowing yourself to really honor the sacredness of this moment. You can feel their gratitude. You can feel them right there, thanking us, thanking you for seeing them, for honoring them, and just taking this moment here to just remind yourself that they, like you, are consciousness, are spirit, are fractals of the same source, however you choose to explain it. They are not as separate as you think. They are us, the bigger us. And so let us celebrate that together. The shared journey, the bigger story that we are on together. And with this said, inviting Kristen to be able to hold the talking stick. And so even here, you can just imagine Kristen literally still just sitting at the side of the circle, all of us still just very in this meditative stillness state. And Kristen, passing it over to you. When you are ready, speak from your heart any messages that you would like to share. Go ahead, Kristen.
I invite you to continue connecting with your breath as you allow your shoulders to relax and feel the peace and love within this space. As you breathe in the wholeness that your ancestors give you, I invite you to repeat the following mantra if you feel called. I am whole. I am protected. I am loved. I am whole. I am protected. I am loved. As you continue to connect with your breath and enjoy this beautiful space with your ancestors, filled with gratitude and love and peace, noticing the bonfire, you might notice two figures standing beside you. I just invite you to acknowledge your inner child and your shadows, for with them you are whole, and they bring you wisdom. I invite you to give your gratitude to your beautiful, sweet inner child and send them love and welcome your shadow and thank it for the power it gives you and honor it and send it love as well. And if you feel called in this moment to wrap yourself in a light hug, hugging your shadows and your sweet inner child, repeat the mantra, I am whole. I am protected. I am loved. And you might have a message for your sweet innocent child or your shadows. I invite you to be open in this moment for any messages that would like to come through or be sent. As you continue feeling the love from this space and feeling the warmth from the fire, start dancing a little and just enjoying the joy within this space, feeling the energy as it builds under the full moon, empowering you to create your dreams, envisioning your future and how you want it to be, holding your power. I will happily pass the talking stick over to beautiful Justine.
Justine, when you're ready. Justine, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Thank you so much. I would like to invite you, if you feel called and ready, to join me in a spiritual practice of healing 7 generations behind us and 7 generations ahead of us. So when you feel ready, I want you to visualize yourself looking into a hand mirror. And as you look in the mirror, you can see 7 generations in the past standing in a line over your right shoulder. And if you'd like, you can look at their faces in the mirror or actually turn over your shoulder to see them behind you. And if you feel so called, I'd like you to say, thank you so much for everything you have learned, for all of your struggles, and for all of the beautiful lessons that you've passed down for all of us. Thank you for your journey. I honor you. I love you. I respect you. And I will carry our story forward. And give it a moment to see if your ancestors have any messages for you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then say a sweet goodbye to your ancestors. Goodbye for now. And then either using the same visual of the mirror, put it down and look again, or look over your left shoulder and see future generations, 7 of them ahead of you. And I want you to greet them and say, hi there. You may not know me yet, but I love you. I support you. I fully, completely, unconditionally love, forgive, respect, and tenderly care for you. I'm doing my best to learn for you, to create for you. And if you ever need me, I'm here for you. I love you so, so, so much. And we are all healing together. Right here in this fractal of a moment. And go ahead and take another deep breath. And breathe out. And listen for anything those future generations may have to say to you. I invite you to say another peaceful see you later to your future generations. And then if this feels good for you, go ahead and wrap yourself in a nice, cozy hug. And I'd love to hear you affirm to yourself, I love you, I forgive you, I respect you, I value you. I will always take care of you. And give yourself a nice big squeeze. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze a little bit more. Squeeze real tight. And then I want you to let it out and wiggle your arms and torso about and really shake it out. And then come back to your center. And I'm going to pass it to Brendon to finish this meditation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Justine. Thank you so much, Kristen. So again, for everybody here, we're going to start kind of allowing that inner energy to build here, inviting in, keeping this energy of our ancestors with us still. We're going to get ready to be able to bring it into the process of dance in whatever format that you choose. So in this moment, you guys can slowly just allow yourself to imagine rising up to standing. And then as we keep talking here, we'll transfer our awareness back to our physical body while still keeping the image of this scene within our mind and within our heart. So inviting in the energy of our ancestors, both past and future, to be able to join us in this expression, to be able to join us within this celebration. So again, allowing us, before we fully dive into the dance, to really just take this moment to be able to connect with our inner light. And you can almost visualize each of us just kind of standing there. We're all just kind of standing still. We're just kind of swaying. You can see we're kind of like dancing on the inside. We haven't fully started dancing yet. But as you look around the circle, I want you to almost imagine seeing the light inside of each person. You can literally see like a spark of light inside of their chest, and also a luminance appearing around their very being, the same luminance that appears around the tree itself. So allow yourself to honor your path in this moment. Speak affirmations. You can say things like, I honor where I have been, where I am now, and where I am going. I honor where I have been, where I am now, and where I am going. And really be able to invite in the excitement of how even just us here in this moment is literally inviting in this new timeline, this new reality where we will boldly move into the future with the support and with the love of our ancestors. Let their courage be our courage. Let their strength be our strength. Let their grace be our grace. Let their story continue on through us. So in this moment here, inviting in the energies of the light inside of us, we will bring it out into our expression through dance, honoring the full moon energies that are above us in this moment. And so at this point, I would just invite everyone to slowly begin bringing themselves to either a standing position, or if you choose to stay seated, whatever you choose, whatever is most comfortable for you, but beginning to bring in some movement into your body, slowly rolling your shoulders, moving your arms, getting your hips moving. And at this point, feel free to open your eyes, or quite frankly, you can kind of go through kind of keeping your eyes closed even while dancing within this meditation. Just make sure you're doing it in a safe space. And so at this point, I'm going to stop talking, but I'll bring up the music and we'll continue this practice, this celebration, this embodiment, imagining all of us here together as a community, dancing around this bonfire, dancing under the moonlight, dancing with our ancestors, dancing with the past, present, and future, dancing and igniting the light inside of us. By the time we're done dancing here, the light inside of us will have become even brighter. So, fellow light guardians, fellow shifters, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in on this celebration. I'll close off my microphone here and you'll hear the music starting. Follow your cue, listen to your intuition, let this creative life force energy flow through you in celebration. Here we go. Happy spiritual new year. What? Here we go. All right, here comes the music. Get ready for it.
Sometimes you have to close your eyes to find the light within the darkness. Close your eyes.
Awesome. Wonderful job, team. At this point, just kind of concluding the practice, you can even just bring your hands to heart center, just put your hands on your heart and just take another moment here to just kind of reconnect with the intention of this moment. Just kind of take a few more closing breaths here as we just conclude this practice, this meditation, with gratitude, with empowerment, with inspiration. So just take a few breaths here, really deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, even a bit of a sigh. And just do two more of those. Inhale. Nice and calm. Beautiful. One more if you need it. Allowing yourself to just be here in this image of all of us gathered here at this tree, feeling the vibes in the air and knowing that the celebration, that the magic continues beyond this moment, may continue to ripple out through the beacons of light that we carry with us inside of our heart and express through our magic, through our love, through our creativity, through our compassion. Beautiful. And slowly here, concluding your practice with gratitude, gratitude to your ancestors, gratitude to yourself, gratitude to the light, the shadow, and the journey still ahead. Keeping this image of the beautiful space that we've created here and knowing that you can return to it at any time within further meditation, within dream time. And gently, when you are ready, slowly bringing your awareness back to your physical body as you gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, open your eyes, and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Awesome. Wonderful job, team. We did it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Happy Halloween. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yeah, 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 yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being such amazing members of our community. To each and every single one of you, for those of you who are tuned in the future, listening on YouTube, leave your comments of gratitude down below. We're just going to conclude here by going around the circle one last time, even just to be able to say thank you and good night, gratitude, any other closing thoughts, or maybe what we feel we've taken away from this. I'd love to even just hear from you guys. What do you feel has been the takeaway from this discussion that we've had here tonight? So I'll pass it to anybody else who wants to just kind of like close things off here. So who can I pass it to? I'll pass it over to Kristen, and then I'll go to whoever else wants to go after that. So Kristen, any closing thoughts, and what was your takeaway tonight? I'd love to be able to hear it. Go ahead, Kristen. Thank you again for helping with that.
Beautiful. Namaste, you amazing, lovely souls. I am so grateful for each and every one of you, always sharing such open, love-filled space. It's so great. I'm just so grateful for this beautiful space that you create, Brendon, and all the lovely souls that are called to fill it. So my takeaway from tonight is to just continue to seek knowledge and be open to wisdom, and to continue to fill your heart with love and gratitude, and yeah, never stop questioning and growing and honoring who you are, who you have been, and who you have yet to be. So thank you for letting my goofy dance moves bust and have fun sharing from the heart. So I love you all so much dearly, and yeah, thank you. Gratitude.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, again, this was one big embodiment practice for every single one of us, even those of you listening. I can feel like we like leveled up just having this broadcast. Like, again, I could feel like data from the higher realms kind of crystallizing into our discussion here. And again, we'll continue to carry it with us beyond this practice, beyond this moment alone. Passing it around, who would like to just be able to go next? Again, even just gratitude, takeaways from today's broadcast, closing notes. Who would like to be able to take the talking stick? Zentia, pass it over to you. Go ahead, Zentia. Thank you again.
So I want to say thank you to all of you. I walked away this evening with new practices for Halloween, new perspectives, definitely. I learned some great things last year, but I think we're going to have an amazing Halloween this year and really make use of the energy space that's going to be created by the full moon and this changing of the year. So I just encourage you to get out tomorrow and look at that moon and soak it up. Preferably at 12:00, between 11:59 and 12:01, or 1:11 maybe, 11:11. Just go outside and see what you get. Take in all the energy we can. This has been a crazy year, and if this is the new year, I mean, guys, we need light guardians for the next year coming. So let's soak in as much energy as we can so that we can redistribute it out without emptying our own cups going forward. Love, light, and pineapples, guys.
Love, light, and pineapples. Thank you so much, Zentia. I'm gonna start saying that now. It's rubbing off on me, so it's perfect. I love it. Yeah, again, just echoing with Zentia there, and go ahead. Who wants to go next? Just go ahead, and so I can know who I'm passing it to. Again, just any closing thoughts here. Pass over to Z. Yeah, again, everyone, reminder here, like, taking care of ourselves is always going to be such an important part of the work, and honestly, like, partying and dressing up and slowing down, this is how we take care of ourselves. This is us answering what it is that we need. And sometimes, in a space where it's like, oh, we got this future still ahead of us and I'm uncertain, what do I need? Sometimes what we need is just kind of like slow down and connect with our inner guidance, connect with the inner support that we have with our spirit and our guides. We're moving forward into this new version of reality where spirituality is becoming much more a part of our everyday lives, where we are literally living our life as multidimensional beings. And what does that mean? It means we have far more resources available to us than perhaps we once thought we did. And again, this comes through the tools and the practices and the awareness of what it is that we've been talking about tonight, relative to energies and guides, and again, just really being able to return ourselves back to the wisdom of the heart. Z, I'll pass it over to you. Go ahead. What was your takeaway? Any closing thoughts and gratitude? Go ahead, Z. Welcome again. Thank you again.
I'm super grateful for the fact that I felt inspired enough to want to do this. I'm that person who would be like, Zoom Halloween costume party. Okay, sure. The music's gonna be shit. Like the technology doesn't, or like that's how I operate logistically. But I saw him in his Spider-Man suit and just all these things about this community that inspires me so much. So I feel so grateful that I could be this excited, and it wasn't the costume that excited me. It was the ability to, like, the inspiration came from dressing up with you guys in particular, and that to me is so special. And especially with this year, with everything happening, and there's so many of us that have been trying to find each other, and trying to understand what living in your light means. And I've just, I'm learning in that way, because I've come from the shadow material world. Even this verbiage is still new to me, but it makes so much sense. So just the main point is that I felt super, super grateful to feel this inspired by you guys, by this community, by everything that we're trying to do together, and seeing this movement growing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Your words mean so much to both myself and everybody else here in the community, and it really means a lot. It really does. Like, if you can feel inspired to get weird with us, then I think there's hope for the bigger story as well. So, because that's what it takes, right? Like, by us doing this, it's like this is giving permission to other people to be like, you know what, like this is pretty cool. Like this is actually pretty cool. Connecting with our hearts and showing up to change the world and dressing up like magical beings and talking about spiritual stuff. This is pretty cool. This is my jam. So thank you again, Z, so much for being here. And yeah, really again, just with the story, like absolutely again, honoring not just where we have been individually, where we have been as a collective. Like, huge shout out to every single one of you these past 8 months. I am so proud of you guys. Like, I am so proud of you. Like, I always I knew we'd be here, so to speak, but to be able to like live the journey and to see the journey and to see how we've all come together, it's very surreal. It's very, very, very surreal. And maybe that'll be a discussion more for another broadcast. But again, I'm really, really proud of you guys. Like, as a team, as individuals, it really, really means a lot. And again, I know that what we're doing here is going to continue to ripple out in ways that are bigger than we may even know. So, okay, let's just keep passing along before I keep gushing too hard. The full moon's making me all weepy and stuff like that. Anyways, anybody else cry? No, just me. All right, no, that's great. Like, but yeah, let's just end this with a big group cry of how proud we are. If anybody else, first one to start crying wins a prize. That's like the Halloween game for tonight. Anyways, Abbey, I'll pass it over to you, and you can tell us a little bit about what takeaways, gratitude, and any other closing messages. Go ahead, Abbey. Thanks again.
So much gratitude for starting to normalize spirituality and embracing our spirituality, and Brendon for creating a space and a community that can finally do it, because I don't really think there's any creators doing this. I see other conscious creators solo doing it, but not many other people are branching out, and if they are, I see them coming from this community. And I was just like Z a few months ago, coming from the material world, like holy crap, I need to wake up. What is going on? And now I look at myself a few months later, and it's like a completely different person, and it wouldn't be without this community. And I'm just so blessed to be able to sit here and share this, and hope that the people watching are inspired, and they have been. People keep joining and wanting to awaken, and it's beautiful. I love it. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abbey. Again, just words, crying over here. So no, it's beautiful. It really, really is. It really, really is. And like, honestly, like there's multiple things that will make me cry, but one of the things that usually makes me cry the most is like just like truth, if that makes sense. Like just kind of like reflecting on just kind of like, I don't know, like heart, like emotional, like heart stuff, community, seeing each other, like hearing feedback and everything like that. I don't know, it just makes me really, really happy, and that makes me cry, and that makes me cry because it's coming from a deep place. And again, I think this is the time for us as a community to really feel what that deep place feels like. And that's where, again, you know, like what if Halloween in the future just comes like, what if within our community it just becomes this thing where it's like it's a celebration of who we are as light guardians, you know, and like on Halloween we're like physically dressing up as light guardians and nobody thinks second about it, but then we continue it with us, so it's kind of like an inside joke. They're like, haha, like they think we're just dressing up, but we're actually really these epic superheroes, sort of things. That's literally what it already feels like. That I think it's already happening. So stay tuned for next Halloween or something like that, or maybe we'll literally just like schedule in like more, like, because this was basically like a mini transformational online festival, you guys know that. We'll do more of these. I mean, we got more Halloween parties. We got more full moon parties, but maybe we will just do more Halloween parties. I don't know. Second Halloween, we'll just create our own holidays. I don't care. So why not? We can do that. If I create a post about it, people will join. So okay, team. All right. Who else wants to just be able to share any closing gratitude as well? Justine, we'll pass it over to you. Go ahead, Justine. Thanks.
Y'all, this is like silly, but all I can think of is that TikTok song that's like, every day is leg day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Halloween. That's some silliness, but I'm just so grateful to everyone who's here, everyone who's hanging out, and I feel like we managed to strike this really beautiful balance of like playfulness and like really deep, focused, respectful learning without getting like uptight and serious about things. And just so much gratitude to everyone here participating on the call or watching later. Just so much love to all of you, and so much like honor to you in your spiritual journey, past, future. Thank you for being here.
That's awesome. And Justine, allow me to just kind of like pick your brain for a bit, kind of going back to like the spiritual wisdom of the Halloween theme specifically. What do you feel was kind of like a takeaway for you relative to the stuff we talked about tonight? Like, has a paradigm shifted for you at all, or do you feel we kind of got down to some roots?
I think for me it was like a deepening, really, especially as somebody who carries a little bit of that like Celtic heritage. It wasn't so much of like oh, I don't know what this is about kind of a moment, but it's always really cool to hear. Like, I feel like you can get so much deeper in a subject just by listening to how other people talk about it. Human perspectives themselves have so much like depth and value, and I always love hearing, you know, different takes on the same thing. Yeah. I'm one of those people who like I'll reread my favorite book 10-15 times more, you know, like until the book falls apart and I have to buy a new one. So for me this was a little bit like that, of like every time you read again you get something new, whether that's new information that, you know, oh, how did I never read that sentence before, or that's like, oh, I never thought of it this way before. I had like sort of that experience tonight.
Yeah, no, that I definitely, I feel that too. I definitely feel that. And I'm just kind of imagining, you know, like a version of myself in the future when I got like my own children and stuff like that. And I'm like what am I going to do with them on Halloween? You know, like, am I just going to say it's like, oh, go around and eat candy and dress up and stuff like that? I'm going to be like, no, you know, like, let's sit down and light some candles and just kind of like meditate and connect with our heart and honor the spirits and honor the nature and the connection to source and everything like that. Like, that's what I feel, that it's up to us what Halloween becomes beyond this. And I think when we're unconscious, it will continue to kind of naturally turn towards the materialistic, because that's the most easily accessible. This stuff that we're tapping into, we have to kind of like look beneath. We kind of have to go underneath the surface, look beyond the illusion, so to speak, even though this is where it originates from, right? So again, this is us kind of like doing some some very real work here where we're diving deep into a primordial tradition, like something that is ingrained into who we are as spiritual beings. We're bringing it back into culture. Honestly, I would encourage, because I'm probably going to do this even today or tomorrow. I was probably going to put up some kind of TikTok video about like the quote unquote like the true meaning of Halloween. I would encourage you guys to, again, kind of just start putting that out there into the paradigm of how, you know, as spiritual seekers, how Halloween can be something much more than just costumes, but actually be a very spiritual day of celebration, or whatever term we're using there, connection, you know, so ceremony. So yeah, no, thank you again, Justine. Okay, team. Z, did you want to jump in with something else? Yeah, go ahead, Z.
So when you started talking about your future children, hypothetically, what you'd be doing, it just made me
of course, my future babies. Yeah, everyone's got.
I should tell you about the 2 biological kids I have one day. It's a crazy story, but I was gonna say that, Justine, during the meditation, when you start talking about like 7 generations ahead, my fucking womb was aching. I was like, whoa, this is really intense tuning in, because, you know, we always think about our past, but that was actually the first time I thought about my future in that many generations ahead and connecting to it. It was literally my first time, right? So it was powerful. I just wanted to acknowledge that part of your meditation, and
I'm so honored to hear that, first of all. And second of all, give a quick Google for like sacral chakra activation symptoms. Drink a ton of water. There's other stuff that you may or may not want to do, but like I would say that that type of sensation is on the same level as like you're having a Kundalini activation. Take care of your body. Generally for people, it wasn't necessarily my intention to bring you into that space with preparedness for it. So
no, it's fine. No, when I was feeling it, it was like, it was a place of gratitude. It was like even more so stepping into the present moment now, like, oh my God, this is the impact I'm having, and this is the current decisions I'm making for the life that I'm creating right now. And now suddenly I could see the effect that many generations ahead, and I was like, yes, the Kundalini activation, like definitely. That's not expected but I was happy.
It's like a reminder of like all of us have a connection to that like universe level creation. And so in our conscious behavior, it's just it puts you more in contact of like, whoa, I'm creating something in every single moment. Boom. It shifted a lot for me the first time I did that meditation. So I'm glad it was a positive experience. But yes, drink your water. Everyone, drink water. Go chug like a lot of water and maybe eat a snack.
Thank you again, Justine. Z, was there anything else? Is that?
That was it. I was shocked. No one ever does this in meditations. And I mean, I've experienced a lot of different things. No one has ever talked about thinking of the future lineage generations like that. This should be more normal.
They're there, man.
But yeah,
they're there. Absolutely, very, very powerful. Feeling it. Wonderful. Thank you again, Z, and thank you again, Justine. So, okay, team, and anybody else want to just jump in for any closing stuff as well? If you guys just want to be able to let me know, I think we're good as it is. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, again, for being a part of this. Each and every single one of the leading members who are still on air with us. Zentia, thank you to Z, thank you to Justine, thank you to Abbey, thank you to Kristen, thank you to Kaci as well, and thank you to those of us, those who were here earlier in the broadcast who had to leave early, and thank you to all of you in the YouTube chat as well. Super honored to be able to create this space together as a community, and looking forward to what's going to be a very, very exciting and very, very important future ahead of us. The next few months are going to be important. So again, here's kind of us, like we're getting ready here. So let's continue to use these these broadcasts, these meditations, these practices that we're doing to continue to just kind of like really get clear on like who it is that we're here to be, and the role that we play, and the value that we have to offer for community to really be able to stand in our truth and speak from our heart, and to be able to invite others to do the same, and to really develop our deepening of our relationship with our ancestors, with spirit, with the energies around us. So wrapping it up again on the spiritual theme of Halloween. Let us honor that this time to be able to see it as another opportunity, one of many, to be able to continue to cultivate our inner light, to be able to cultivate courage and to honor the courage that we already have within us, to be able to endure the light, to be able to endure with the light through the darkness, and to be able to carry with us the love and the support of our ancestors, past and future, to be able to honor the spirits of all sorts, the benevolent guides who are with us at all times, and to really be able to honor the creative energies that are inside of us that we can bring forth and bring out to play and to use as ways to be able to help embody who it is that we are here to be. Call it your activated avatar, your light guardian archetype, the parallel version of yourself, the superhero version of you that you already are. Whatever it is, it's honoring the magic that is at the core of your very being. So let's bring this Halloween-ish energy with us, and we'll keep carrying it with us beyond this moment into our art, into our relationships, into our community, and out into the world. So with that said, we are going to wrap up this broadcast, and I just remind everyone that you guys are invited to be able to connect further by joining our Discord server. The link for that is in the YouTube info, tinyurl.com, tinyurl.com/shift team chat if you want to just be able to remember that. Go ahead and sign up for Patreon if you not only want to support the work that I do, but also support the community and be able to join as a leading member in our community to be able to get full access to our team chat and join on these on our team podcasts. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters. You can find the link for that on YouTube info as well, and through the link in my profile on Instagram and TikTok. And be sure to connect and connect to all of the featured leading members here on tonight's broadcast. You'll find the links for them in the YouTube info below. And thank you again to Spaceship Earth for allowing us to be able to work with their music tonight. That was some awesome music. You guys like that music, eh? That was pretty good. Had some pretty cool sounds going on there. So awesome. All right, team. With that said, let me just take a moment here to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. The other thing I will just mention, stay tuned for future broadcasts we got coming up. In November, there is going to be one about the spiritual wisdom of UFOs, like UFOs and the shift in consciousness. We're going to be getting back into the UFO theme. My intuition is telling me that that's going to continue to become more and more relevant. And let's use, like, I just kind of want to be able to plant the seed here. Let's really work. We got a few milestones up ahead of us. So again, this is us kind of getting ready for what's coming next. We got the November 11/11/11 gate that's going to be coming up. We're going to be doing like a big broadcast then as well within our community. So stay tuned for that. And after that, moving towards December 21st solstice. So we got some big dates coming up ahead of us. So for everybody here, keep shining your light, keep planting those seeds, keep opening your heart, keep expanding those minds, keep calling in the energy that is all around you to support you at all times. You are supported, you are guided, you are loved, you are powerful, you are a shifter, someone who is intentionally here to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. So with that said, thank you everyone again so much for joining in. We're going to wrap up this broadcast. Looking forward to being able to connect further on the Discord chat. For everybody here, let's make some whooping and wolf howls. Happy full moon, everyone, again. So everybody here, say good night, and until next time, we love you guys. All right. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone, so much. Much love. Keep it shifty, and welcome to the future. Special thank you to Danny Leonardo, whose music is featured at the beginning and end of this podcast. Be sure to check out more of Danny's work in the YouTube info below. Thank you, Danny.